A grand final of Warlords 3. It's a best of 9 between two players who, well, you probably would have predicted to be in the final. It seems like anytime these two are playing, they're going very far in the tournament. And more recently, it has been Hera who has been the one winning these tournaments. We've got Hera in the blue playing as the Italians. We've got Viper in the yellow playing as his favorite Dravidians. And the map is migration, and it is a very narrow migration, which should make things interesting here, Dave.
It's funny how, as Hera gets better, he kind of adopts a lot of the tendencies that Viper had back in the day, where he's got so much confidence, he can, go for that early aggression, or he'll just greed something out and rely on his abilities to carry him through. And I think if we were talking about Hera just a while ago, he might always go for the early galley approach on a map like this. But nowadays, he might just opt for that sneaky type of fast castle. We might see both players just kind of sitting on their own end, right? And then trying to contest the land here. It's kind of difficult to say what the consensus meta is, especially with Nineville's start on migration.
Yeah, I think the Nineville start allows you to justify feudal age. And then also the fact that the island in this tournament is very narrow definitely allows you to go for feudal age. We've seen fast feudal and forward docks a lot more because of how much easier it is to get over there. So I don't know, like a very Viper-esque thing, kind of back to what you said, would just be like, all right, we'll let them be aggressive. We'll take the eco lead and defend. But yeah, I mean, that might be the whole series from both of them.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we might see multiple games
it out.
Where there's no military in feudal age because they're trying to read each other like a book, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, both civs as well have bonuses for kind of either thing. I personally prefer the Dravidians over the Italians on this map. I think Dravidians were just made for this map. The docks giving you the extra pop space. The fishing ship carry capacity is so overlooked and so underrated. And then the additional wood you get in each age is super helpful. But I mean, Italians are kind of made for like any water map and also have discounts on their dock techs, on their fishing ships, on their age ups too. So I think like most players are going to say this is 50-50 and it's somewhere around there for me as we see just some fishing ships and some docks right now.
Are you calling fast castle for both of these guys or feudal pressure? It's kind of hard to tell with Nineville starts with the res right now.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. I think Hera's going to go up. Hera has made it very clear to me based on what he's just done. So Hera's going to go up. He clicks up. I'm thinking Hera is going to either do the fast transport, which seems unlikely, but fast transport into forward docks, or he may go for the 2 galleys into adding a bunch of fishing ships behind.
Yep.
And Viper actually goes up as well. So they're both kind of going faster feudal here instead of the fast castle approach.
Viper's adding 2 more. It's so tough on Nineville starts as Hera, took a walk with this deer all the way around his island, bro. He went all the way around that wood line. God, I mean, it's a good thing he has nothing else to do with the scout. It was kind of annoying from his perspective. But it's really difficult to judge the food counts, especially with Dravidians in a situation like this on Ninevilles, because every fishing ship is dropping off 30. So when Viper gets to feudal age, like he might have more resources than we think right now, is he's up to 200 food already. Might just be a few ships, and then on the way up to Castle Age, maybe like produce 3 or 4 vills instead of just 2.
Well, the tricky thing here, like the resource that actually becomes difficult to really come by is wood.
Yeah,
right?
well, Viper's going to get that.
You're trying to go docks. You're trying to go mining camp. Like Viper doesn't have a mining camp yet. And so this is why I love Dravidians. Watch Hera's situation. He has 200 wood banked, and then boom, he gets 200 more.
No, Viper's Dravidians, brother.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Are you
looking
okay?
at his wood. No, I'm fine. I'm
You're
fine.
looking at his wood.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
enjoying the
I
view?
did, and I was saying it. I was very confused. I looked around. I was like, did he fill the market? Sorry.
Where did it go?
I'm really glad I realized now until later, because this whole time I had it reversed in my mind.
I do that all the time, like especially like 7 hours deep in a set or something.
Yeah,
and you'll be into middle Castle Age, and you realize no one's called me out on this, but I've been thinking this player is the wrong civ for the last 12 minutes. We just got to play it off,
We just play it off, yeah. Just a misclick, I guess. But yeah, Viper gets the wood. He's on 3 docks. Hera is just now adding the 3rd. And they both are adding a lot of galleys here. So it's
I
not
yeah.
it's not going to be a surprise to me to see them continue to do that. I think when you get the alert that your opponent's in feudal, you
Mhm.
now have to respect the opponent could go full galleys, and you can't try and just cut numbers now.
Yeah, and Viper's got 5 vills in the queue, man. So he's got the food, 6 now. He's got the food he needs. He's just waiting for the gold, and he's got to keep producing the galleys. I like the galley defense so much better than the fire galley defense, because the fire galley defense against a player who's going like 3 dot galleys, like Hera
Yeah.
is, or 2 dot galleys, especially against a player of his caliber, they're always just going to get micro down. So it's just units that are buying you time, and you're not going to have that galley mass to upgrade. And odds are he's going to have a similar castle age time to you, even if you go for fire galleys into the
Look
war
where
galley
Viper's
upgrade.
even put his scout. He's
Over there.
hoping Hera patrols in
Yep.
and hits that scout, and Hera actually saw the scout and
Smart
keeps
enough
going.
to go around. Yeah, he knows why the scout's there, dude.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Whereas a lot of other people are like, ooh, I could kill the scout for free. Viper has 2 fishing ships exposed. I gotta say, like, Viper should really have 1 galley. The scout move is cute, but to not have 1 galley on the other side is
Gotta
a
pull
little
that
sloppy for
villager
him.
away.
Yeah. He's
Loses a
had
fishing
a good situation with fishing ships, so losing one's not the end of the world, but Hera will be happy with that at least.
And Hera has this scout over there, and he's also sending 3 of his own galleys in defense, because he's like, oh, Viper's going galleys. Okay, so he's probably already moved over to that side. Viper now with 500 food in the bank, 4 vills still in the queue. Hera was 7 vills in the queue and 300 in the bank. So I wonder if they're, keeping track of how many villagers they have up there, because Hera could legitimately go up, assuming he has the second building, which is coming up right now.
Yeah, no fletching for Hera when he moved in there. Makes it better, of course, that he was able to get the kill that he did. But he was trying to cut some corners here.
Scout
And
might
now
die.
his scout as well. That scout needs to stay alive
How
here.
did it dodge the second volley of arrows, dude? Like, you didn't get hit by one of those. What on earth?
Maybe it's not just town centers.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, there they both go. And interesting to note here, Viper did sell 100 stone.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big deal in this map because you want a town center in the middle. So he won't be able to build 2 TCs. He will be able to build 1 additional one, and Hera did not sell any of his stone.
Resources collected ahead for Viper. The fishing ships, having effectively 50% less move time from the trips is huge.
Yep.
It's
It is
massive.
huge. Yep. And that gets better as the game goes on, right? Like right now, the fish are pretty close to the docks. Look at this fight. What is this? Viper's like, are you kidding me? What is this stupid rock formation?
I want to see someone go through the middle of it.
Can you?
No, you can't. I don't think
Oh.
so. That would be sick if you could, though. I mean,
be honest. You've tried.
I haven't. I want to. Oh, Hera's just being annoying, and Viper's like, come over here. Fight like a man.
And that's the way to do it there for Viper, and he'll be happy with that. I think Hera did get some kills elsewhere, and the KD's pretty even here. Now, we have to direct our attention towards the middle, where Viper is already there.
That scout is weak from Hera, too, from before. That could matter. It's a very important unit right now. Viper's going to find
looking, and they just pass each other. And Hera does not have Loom, but he does have 4 vills. And so Viper probably shouldn't engage against that. He's going to drop a stable, though, Dave. So he will add scouts, he will add spears, and Hera needs to get that town center down fast if that's his plan.
He still delayed him, though. He did delay Hera quite a bit, and Hera's waiting for Castle Age, getting Loom. He's going for the TC. Wisely walled that off, which is beautiful, as he takes the first hit, but Viper's still higher HP, and now he's got the Spearman. So if Viper puts this TC up here, and with that additional wood, might be able to afford an early siege workshop. It could be very problematic for Hera. Also, Viper seeing the University coming in from Hera, and that might be within range once Bodkin Arrow comes in for those war galleys. Let's see if he can deny this. That could be huge.
Oh, that is so frustrating if you're Hera right now, because it's such an investment, and your opponent knows about it. And if Viper sticks around, he could deny it, but
also pressuring in the north too, near the fishing eco from Hera.
Yeah, Viper's everywhere right now.
I don't know why he's going back on that left side with those ships. He just assumes that there's like some fires on the way from Hera or something. It's kind of weird.
I mean, believe it or not, I think even with it being Viper, sometimes you just have to understand that the multitasking is going to be too high.
Yeah.
Right? And I think he's expecting a response from Hera, and so he backed away expecting it, but Hera actually didn't send anything over. It's pretty crazy. Hera just kind of like, faked Viper out
Nonchalant,
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah, like Viper, he thinks I'm gonna do something, so he'll leave. But Viper really should have denied that ballistics upgrade, and now Viper needs ballistics of his own.
That's just the reputation buff that both of these players command, right? You'll
Yes.
see others, getting hard punished for stuff like that. And with Hera and Viper, their opponents just back away because they're like, oh, surely he's going to deal with it.
Yep.
Well, sometimes they don't.
And that is, I will maintain these guys are both so good. They can cut corners that many other players in the game just cannot. It is actually infuriating. I'll
It's
watch
kind
them
of
play and be
unfair.
like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Like, I actually like, they're obviously great players to learn from. There's a lot of good things, but also in some ways, it's like, maybe don't learn
Yeah.
from them because they're playing a different game than us right now.
Yeah. Like, if you watch an Arabia game where Hera has not walled in front of his TC, he's got like 7 tiles of gaps, and he's defending against knights with 4 skirms, do not replicate that behavior, right? Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're going to die. Mangonel coming out from Viper. This is a good
Viper
position.
Yeah, Viper's pushing land right now. So what he's done is he doesn't have as much on water because of this.
It's a good demo.
But this is a really good position for Viper to have, and Hera doesn't really have an easy response to this at the moment. He's going to build a new TC, but Hera may lose this TC. He never added a stable. He doesn't have any scouts, and he doesn't really have the gold to justify redemption for his monks either.
He goes for a siege workshop, and he sends 2. Yeah. Oof. Those 2 villagers are very ambitious. He's counting on Viper being distracted somewhere. Viper also landed a demo. I don't know if you saw it on the war galleys from Hera, and he got damage on like 6 of them. So that's a very weak navy.
Viper was distracted in the south. Viper's losing a fight. On the right, Viper's losing a fight. So Hera's going to have that water dominance. And this is actually getting really close to Viper fully losing water. It might not look like it. He's still going to remain competitive, but he will lose his transport.
That navy's so weak from Hera, and he's lost track of it.
Very weak navy. Patrolled into the dock.
Yep. Viper's still trying to deal with these villagers. He's trying to save his mangonels. Hera's trying to take him down. Hera goes for the gate. Viper takes out 1. Another mangonel. Hera, you got to be careful. That's fine.
And Viper kills his own siege.
That's fine for Hera. He's like, all of these guys are going to die if you don't kill your own mangonel. Viper does it. He still takes out another villager. And it's cheap mangonels for Dravidians.
I was going to say, it is cheaper, so that's a small thing here for Viper, but Nice hold from Hera here. And what a great game to start it all off. I mean, Viper right now, he knows he's going to lose his fish, but he's still remaining competitive on water. It will be difficult for Viper to kill Hera now that Hera has his own siege. Viper, if he, looks away at anything else for one moment, suddenly his Mangonel could go down. And this might be an example of it.
I think a lot of players would have got redemption already in Hera's position. He had the gold. And he had a lot of wood to sell at the market. But Hera is just defending with the siege. She's very confident. Adding in farms behind that. And Viper adding another TC. Hera said in the interview yesterday that this was probably the hardest map to play in the pool. And you can see why, right? You got to focus on 7 different areas at the same time, it feels like. Well, deciding whether to add farms on land or just like protect your fish on the water to get that food eco rolling. It's really, really tough.
Viper's done a sick job. Like, it really felt inevitable because he was down 9 galleys that he was going to lose water, but he's actually ahead in ships now. He's mixed in fires too, and he did lose 2 mangonels to Hera. And he's going to lose another one to Hera. You can tell where the focus is right now for Viper.
Dravidians. If you ask Viper, he's probably like, I'm Dravidians, whatever. I'll just make more. This is fine if you're just forcing Hera to pay all his attention here while you push him back on water and add eco behind. I think that's okay. And Viper's on stone. Hera's not on stone, and Hera doesn't have redemption yet for his monks. So
Hera also farming near the shoreline.
Oh,
usually you see the farming around the main TC.
Kill those. Yeah, you kill those. 100%. Surprised he's
Especially if you think Hera's going to come over here anyways and deal with this, just sit here and take out those farms. That's a big thing here.
Farms are so tough to add on this map. Like, it's really, really difficult timing, and you got to get your food eco sorted. And you can see Hera immediately adding extras.
Yeah. It's just, and then the fish matter, but then you need water control. It's just like, you have to remain competitive with so many different things, but what a perfect game to start the finals here. Honestly, it's been so close. It could go either way right now.
I think Viper definitely has the advantage, but it is Hera. It is Hera. As Viper loses another Mangonel.
I think Hera's killed like 3 or 4 more Mangonels than Viper. And Hera's defense has been amazing, but Viper has a higher percentage of the island locked down, and he has stone to build a castle soon, which is so important on this map.
Do you see that attack round? Viper assumed Hera would move forward. He didn't move forward, so he didn't kill him.
I don't think Hera was looking there either.
No.
Like, Viper was so scared.
Hera looks back. He's like, okay, bro. Just runs away.
Now, will Viper build the castle forward? Will he build it safe? Because, like, right now, the siege engagements haven't looked too good for Viper. It's not like he's up 3-1 in the Mangonel war and is pushing.
No, he's down
like
1-7 or something at this point.
Yeah, but the castle spot he wants is right next to this siege push, if he can.
Yeah. And Hera needs to avoid losing this Mangonel. He does not have another one on the go. And like I said, I'm stunned that he hasn't gotten redemption against this. For a long time, he had the gold floating. Feels like the monks, you wouldn't even need the siege workshop if you had the monks.
How did Viper lose his navy on the right-hand side? It looks like he lost that.
He just
I thought the numbers were closer than that.
Yeah. He's adding fires now. So focus on the land and just keep yourself floating on the water.
Okay, big moment. Castle. Hera he has a civ where imp is cheaper.
Yep. And
so
Viper
that is a dangerous thing.
There's a world where Viper takes out this Mangonel and then pushes that castle even further forward with 2 Mangonels supporting.
True, yeah. Yeah, I think it may be worth it if you get the kill.
Takes it.
He does get the kill.
Oh, man.
He might want it on the TC, but there's Hera Siege Workshop right there, and both of the Mangonels are weak right now for Viper. There's the scout now for Hera. That's 1 scout. Viper doesn't have a single spearman.
Nice attack round.
And Hera will see the castle's going up, Dave.
Ooh, almost killed it with that one, too. Sees the castle. Don't think he can deny it, though. Even though he has had a Mangonel coming out, he actually canceled that. Dude. And he's on the way up. Viper's on the way up, too.
They're both on the way up. It's crazy, man. I mean, listen, I said so the last 2 times these guys face each other in a really big event has been all Hera, right? And Viper is dominant for so long that, makes you think, maybe he's past his best. I think in this tournament, I've seen Viper play better than I've seen him play the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt that if he could do that today, that we would see a really competitive final. And that is exactly my feeling right now. This is a phenomenal play from both these two.
A really, really solid job here from Hera to get up. The fact he was being harassed so much in the center here and has kind of struggled for a position on the land, but also for Viper just holding this position. And obviously going to stone first is huge. You get that first castle set up. He would love a second one around that hill somewhere as he comes in with the Urumi to try and deal with the Mangonels. He'll need to back up, though. There's a monk there. And Hera wants a castle around that hill as well, so I think he's going to have the advantage there. But still, up against the edge of this island.
That hill is really important. That hill is important. The fact that chemistry is cheaper for the Italians is important. The dock text being cheaper for Hera is really nice bonuses come into play here. And now, like, getting the plus 200 wood with Dravidians when you're an imp and have this type of an economy, it's not really as helpful as the earlier stages
That's
of the
like
game.
1 Thericidai, bro. Viper's dropping a castle on the shoreline. He's going for a transport ship, and he's sending an elephant archer over there. That's going to be so annoying, dude. That elephant, that chonker is going to be so frustrating for Hera. That's like, you have to drop a monastery to deal with this.
You gotta do something, yeah. And it's not something Hera wants to focus his attention on.
And there's more.
Right now. I mean,
and
why
it's
not?
probably a Treb joining them. If you join them with a Treb, like, as long as Viper doesn't take his eye off Hera in the center here and just has a little bit of pressure there, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I think Viper is as ambitious as the Treb move might be.
Oh my God!
I think you put 3 elephants there, and you just kind of focus on everything.
He's dropping them on the shallows, dude. The elephant can't go anywhere.
Oh, what?
He dropped them on the shallows there twice.
It's stuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hera's going to make monks to convert these elephants. Viper's elephants have certainly warranted
Gotta
some
learn
type
to
of
swim.
reaction. Viper noticed that and is probably really annoyed. Like, that's a detail you don't really want to look at right now if you're him.
He's getting devotion, too. So Hera's monk is maybe going to die to these elephant archers. Got to be careful.
Hera has a really nice hill here. Like, we've seen it so many times where in a Trebor, having that hill can be so valuable. Hera is later to chemistry, though.
Monk dead.
So Viper will have bombard cannons faster.
Monk dead, but he did get a conversion.
What do? Do you kill the traitor elephant first and then kill Vils, or just...
No, I think you just kill Vils. That
elephant
thing is going to be tickling you for a very long time. You just got to kill as many as you can. This is very annoying for Hera. And Viper got hoardings. He abandons this castle, and he gets masonry now. So these castles for Viper are going to be very tough to break, but he essentially gave up this whole area to Hera as he's focusing more on pressuring that island. Viper also has 2 Trebs he could potentially send over and Treb everything on Hera's island over here. And now he's sending skirms
now.
Oh, this is so annoying.
You never want to convert a skirm.
No.
Wow. I mean, Hera might need to consider cannon galleons here from his docks. Like, to use something from your shoreline to harass that castle would be so valuable. But he doesn't really have the water control to justify that right now. Neither player really has a lot of water control, in all honesty.
Bombard cannons are coming over.
Don't tell me Viper converts the bombard cannons. What? Well, we'll see if he could... Can he sit in a position where it's worth it here? I feel so risky. It feels like he could lose these cannons. Viper, Viper, Viper,
no,
Viper, 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 Viper. Hera!
He's okay.
Is he?
Move!
Well, they're not getting back. They are not getting back. What in the world? Viper, this is expensive. But can he sit here?
Just out of range.
Okay.
With the skirms to help. Run! He snipes the monk.
Okay.
Hera's still pushing on the middle island. Now he takes out the fires. And there's another transport coming with Trebs, but Hera's pushing in. Like, those bomber cannons, that Trebs should have been sent over, not the bomber cannons.
Yeah. Viper needs his cannons here, dude.
Yeah.
He needs his cannons here. He's getting real fancy. We appreciate it, but losing 2 cannons to villagers is not going to be something that he'll be too excited about. Now, what he will love is the fact that he's Dravidians and he's got skirms right now. And he's got 2,000 stone in the bank, Dave. So he can repair this castle for a while with hoardings.
Yep.
He does have bomber cannons coming out of both siege workshops. I think even though Viper took some losses there, Hera's actually in a really vulnerable position.
Really, really vulnerable. And Viper didn't want to push that area up on the hill, I think, against Hera. He wanted to distract him over there and wait for Hera to just kind of walk forward a little bit so he could take these fights. And now his eco is in a fantastic spot. Honestly, you mentioned the stone. It's not only that, 54 on wood right now, like still 800 food in the bank for upgrades. Beautiful.
Think about how well Hera defended, but also the fact that he had to focus on his starting island.
Yeah.
He had to build a castle there because of all that. And what he didn't do is he didn't castle creep the middle, which is the biggest part about this map. So that play from Viper to transport like that really changed Hera's focus, and I think that's the type of thing that Hera is just not used to dealing with, right? No one is.
Yep.
It really worked well for Viper.
I think it's impossible to get used to that. You just got to do the best you can, and like you said, Hera did a really great job. He converted the elephant archer, then he went for the castle, but now he's going to be forced to go back on water again because Viper has cannon galleons. And if that castle goes down, suddenly you have the same elephant archer problem you had the first time. Avec Trebs this time around. So Hera, you know, under a lot of pressure. Definitely Viper's game. And now he pushes forward with 2 Trebs, 3 bombard cannons, and the Dravidian skirms with full upgrades. Tough.
I mean, yeah, I'm struggling to see what Hera can really do if the unit comp stays the same. If Hera can make a unit type that is different than what we're seeing here, then maybe this changes. But right now, it feels like Viper is happy to just hold the middle island and simply just wreck Hera's eco with Navy. And Hera's got 60 villagers there. Like, Hera can't lose that, and he still has no response on water.
Yeah, Hera's win condition is being really, really good. Like, there's nothing specific. He just needs to win every fight in the middle here, take some fantastic trades, and slowly work his way back. Because Viper's got him constricted right now.
I mean, that's an amazing bombard cannon shot for Hera, but an amazing split from Hera, too. Dave, crossbow doesn't really feel like the play for Hera at the moment, right? Like, against Dravidian skirms and bombard cannons, it feels like maybe Hera's used to being able to have a winning position by now, but it is a unit that I feel could be kind of risky for him in the long term. Uh-oh, Viper.
Viper's
Fast
cannon
fires.
galleons right through the fast fires. They're going to die, but he did take out the castle. Did take out the castle on the land there from Hera. Hera's still pushing back, and Hera's getting really good kills here with the bomber cannons. But look at Viper's res. He can tech into whatever he wants, provided he has the production buildings. And it looks like he's going to go Elephant Archer. Elite Elephant Archer is on the way. Has 44 on food now. And the bombard cannons, not the greatest counter to Elephant Archers, and definitely not the Arbalist either.
Well, it's good that Viper has another unit he's planning on, because he just lost all of his bombard cannons and cannon galleons. And I know he's banking res, and I know he's about to get relic number 5. Of course he is. But, like, that was expensive. He just lost a lot of army. All the units that matter the most to him went down. And is he going to try it again? Is he going to transport to Hera's Island again?
Well, the castle's gone,
with a weak
dude.
transport?
The castle's gone, and you have elite elephant archers, and the villagers this time. So it might be a castle here from him. I think it's just so tough for Hera. Like, he can make Genbo against these elephant archers, fine, but you can't defend on your main base while still pushing in the middle.
But also, doesn't Hera have to push in the middle? He just took out all of Viper's bombard cannons, and he's not moving out.
He's busy.
Yeah, maybe, I guess he's macroing right now. You see the farms. He's fitting a farm everywhere he can, but really feels like Hera's moment to push Viper was immediately after he took out all of Viper's units in the middle, and he's still just not ready yet. And Viper's taking the time to take his island now.
Like, Viper's teching into everything. Hera's going to see Elite Elephant Archer, full upgrades, essentially. And he is probably going to settle himself in and say, it's very unlikely I win this game. If I do, it's going to have to be a slow, grinding type of pushback here. Yeah. Because not a single fight is going to determine this game at this point. It's going to be a series of fights.
Look at Hera's situation.
This
is rough.
Double watchtower. Yikes.
Double watchtower. 5 villagers in a transport each time. Very little gold income. Castle on the main island. He's somehow at 180 pop. I gotta hand it to him. The fact that he is at 180 pop right now is pretty unbelievable. But Viper is banking resources for the next game, if that was even a thing. Like, he is...
Shipwright.
He's in a perfect spot right now.
You can just surround him on water now. Yep. Like, you keep the elephant archers in the center. You've still got stone. You could go for more castles with hoardings. Trebs in defense, right? If Hera pushes forward with these bomber cannons, well, there's elephant archers waiting there to snipe. And then you control water and just cannon galleon him down. There's no room here for Hera.
Yep. And I maintain Hera needs to push in the, like, right through the middle where water doesn't play a role. And it's going to be tough with Viper having the elite elephant archers. Those units are just so tanky and so pop efficient at this point. Viper's army value is just insane.
All the villagers are dead. They're stranded. Help! He's trying to get 5 more.
There's the demo on the way. I think the demo should probably go for the fires. But...
Go for the transport. No!
All right. Well, Hera's at 150 pop now. He's starting to get cannon galleon from the other sides, and he must not feel like he has enough to push, so he's just staying put. Viper has been happy to just hold this position. It feels like he will win this game if he holds it. He's getting all the techs now, and Hera's stable transition is just going to get bombarded right down here.
Yep.
Yeah, Hera's in big trouble here. Hera needs to push through the middle, or he's dead here, Dave.
It's a crazy series of splits and realignment here to avoid the shots from the bombard cannons. Hera's doing a fantastic job with that. He comes forward with the skirms now. The light cav is still there, which is a problem for Viper. And now he's splitting around the bombard cannon shots, but you can only do it for so long. Even the best get punished by 4 bombard cannons.
It's also what happens when you don't have a single armor upgrade on the skirm. So, and well, Hera maybe happy that he's killing a few bombard cannons. Viper happy that he's taking Hera's castles down on the side here. And Dave, I'll repeat it. Viper in Warlords 3 looking like the best version that I've seen of him in years.
Yep. I mean, Hera is alive here, which is crazy. He's at 150 pop. He shouldn't be. But look at Viper mixing it up. He's going on the left side. He knows it's going to take a long time for Hera to go over there with his army. And he's trying to pull him out of position a little bit. It doesn't work because Hera only sends the light cap. But at least he takes out some Arbalists along the way. And he might even save some of these Trebs because the castle is there to defend.
Look at Viper just sit on top of these Arbs. It's kind of an interesting technique.
He's got 2,500 food, dude. He doesn't care. Like, just send more units.
Hera has to be careful not... He almost used the Bombard Cannon against his own Arbalest there because of that. But Viper's Navy's still taking out Hera, and Hera's still not wanting to call it quits, Dave, but he's got elephants everywhere, and he calls the GG now.
Yeah.
And Viper starts off with a bang in game number 1. That was amazing.
Great start for Viper. He got the initial advantage on the landing, and I think it all comes down to that extra wood he got with Dravidians. Obviously, he was up to Castle Age faster, but you saw he added the stable, he added the barracks, he added the town center, and then he added the siege workshop super early. And then Hera's just on the back foot the entire time in the center.
Yeah,
so
and
solid.
Yeah, and Hera, I'm trying to think, where did things change here? I guess the issue for Hera was he lost the momentum because of Viper's transport, maybe, right? Like, Viper choosing to go transport so early seemed like it really slowed Hera down from pushing. We never really saw Hera advancing forward in early Imperial Age.
Like, the Navy, Viper got a good demo on the War Galleys early. It didn't kill any, but it reduced the HP. And then Hera was busy, so he patrolled into that dock, and Viper was able to clear that Navy on the right for free, completely, outnumbered. So that just frees up a lot of space to go for something like that transport. So it's step by step, but both players played very well here. It's an extremely difficult map, and I think this bodes well for this series because I don't think Hera's. I could have seen a world where Viper would get swept, but I don't really see one where Hera might have gotten swept.
100%. I agree with you. Another small thing here before we speculate on game 2. I think it was really smart from Viper to just give up his initial castle. So rarely is it okay for you to lose a castle in those early Treb wars, but Viper did a good job of realizing I shouldn't be fighting uphill there. I'm not going to invest resources into saving that castle, and he just kind of backed up, built castles elsewhere, and built up his eco. So, yeah, sick start to the series here, like you said. And now Hera's going to want a bounce back game. And I'm staring at Chinese and Mayans, thinking about how Hera played yesterday, and I'm just thinking, like, does he just go right for it here?
No, it's Alpine, dude.
Just to go for it. Alpine,
and it's Viper going back to Armenians again, and Hera playing Romans. So we'll see what adjustments Viper makes. He got a little bit greedy with the Armenians last time. It felt like he got himself to a good position, and then he just kind of got a little too greedy.
Yeah, my prediction was that Viper was going to try feudal longswords because the map has been skirm spear oriented. And Viper never fell into a position where that felt natural in that game.
Yep.
And in the interview, Memb asked him, like, what are you planning with Armenians? And the way Viper responded to it, he was kind of just like, well, I think the mule carts are good. I thought this could. It felt like he was hiding something to me.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to say it. So the fact that he's picked Armenians here again and picked Armenians early tells me we are going to see a masterpiece attempt from the Viper here.
I don't know. I kind of think he would have been fine in that game if he just didn't cut production. Like, he identified getting horse collar is too greedy. Yeah. And I kind of agree with him because he caught up with army number and then he just stopped. And Sebastian just kept overwhelming him, right? So,
well, Sebastian beat like everyone on that map too. Like that is like Sebastian's best map. Like, he was just insane there.
Well, he lost the Vinch because he played Khmer and he played into a scout war with Khmer, which I think is just a mistake. You always got to open range with Khmer.
Yeah. But well played, Viper, to start it off here, folks. And if you're here, thanks for being here. We have a doozy of a final. We've got Romans versus Armenians here. And again, I speculated that after Viper kind of played lackluster with the Armenians in the semifinal, that maybe we did not truly see what Viper was planning on with them. This Civ has the mule carts, of course, which could be really helpful on maps where wood is awkward, and they also can get their barrack technologies an age earlier. But right now, very ambitious movement from Viper with a villager running around the backside of Hera's base.
You could also go, if you really wanted a masterpiece, like you could also go super fast barracks on this map and just spam Spearman and Dark Age with Armenians.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of funny. He's going to just lame this board. He's not going to try and bring it back. And that's something he did yesterday too, right? Like he just walled in the Vills and tried to lame them.
Hera.
Sebastian? Or not Sebastian, Hera? Viper?
Quick wall from... Wow!
Sick.
That was disgusting from Viper! And he's still going to try and get the boar. Hera's now going to try... Uh-oh, Hera. Can you do the same thing? Bro, you've... Hera.
He's dead. He's trying to stall it out. He does, dude. He does.
Sick.
That's
now, Viper
sick.
knows that Vil is weak, and he's bringing his own Vil, and Hera is now trying to block Viper's Vil, and I think Viper needs to give up on it. Well played from both players here, dude. That was... I mean, anyone else just has dead Vils lying on the floor right now.
Yep. It took a few hammers for Viper to get that wall down as well. Tense moments on the villager, because usually whoever loses a Vil here first just misses out on the like 10, 20 seconds that they need in Feudal Age, and it's a huge steal.
You have to make sure you're still doing the basics here, building your houses and taking your resources where you wish to. Hera, he didn't actually know that his one boar was
Viper's laming it. Viper's off to a great start here,
Still
dude.
no loom, dude. You got to get loom, right?
Nope.
Okay. Round 2. Okay. Now Hera has to block the Vil, but also block the house foundation from the Diagro. But now Viper's trying to block. He's going to Diagro with the gate.
He Diagros it. He shoots
and he gets it.
He gets it.
He gets it. He Diagroed it with the freaking gate.
Oh my god, dude. Viper is on one right now. Absolutely gaming. 0 seconds of idle TC time while this is going on. But he does lose a villager somewhere.
Yeah, but Hera has no boars, dude. Right? He's got no more boars. Hera's up. But, he has no meat underneath the TC. And Viper is feasting.
Where did Viper lose the villager? I guess he sent a Vil out to take the boar in the north, and it died while he was busy with the gate.
Yeah. Yeah, Viper's editor will try and edit that one out.
Yeah. No, knowing Tiramis, he'll probably put that one in
on it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at least with the boar war advantage Viper, Hera needs to recover here. I think you have to go range now if you're Hera. It's very difficult when you lack this much food to be able to go for scouts. So could be difficult to go for skirms too, but Hera will be in Feudal Age faster. That is the positive for him. He has collected more resources. It's just that Viper, I mean, he's got resources in these villagers' hands.
Yeah.
So that should even out pretty quickly here.
And he's got another boar back here he can take. It is unfortunate he did lose that one in the north. And you can understand it totally because you're trying to, take your opponent's boar. You're busy with the gates and stuff, but that's got to be frustrating looking back there. Hera's still in an okay spot. I mean, he's going to be up to Feudal Age faster. He doesn't have Loom yet, but it's in the queue. And he'll have enough resources here for the stable or archer range.
Did Viper spot Hera's villager? Hera's got a Vil on the right. Oh, he was going for the boar. And now he's trying to block the Viper, but Viper will bring in that boar. Yeah. Hera's super desperate right now. Like this, I've never seen a game where the board discrepancy has been like this. I think it ends up being Viper taking 5, Hera taking 2, maybe. Maybe he only got 1, but
and now Hera's got one on food. One on food.
Yeah, he's going to have to do whatever he can here, but Viper will complete his barracks. Viper just needs to use that horse right now to find out what Hera is opening with. Because Hera is going to be extremely desperate for damage. It could be possible that Hera does something real aggressive like a tower, but I don't even know what a tower achieves right now. It's just going to be skirms, which we kind of expected here.
Yeah. Now, you identified Armenians as having Feudal Age Longsword, which basically is the counter to most things in Feudal Age, other than like a town center, essentially. But it is very expensive to get into. And so far, not really seeing this boar food reflected in the amount that Viper has in the bank, but he does have 5 villagers in the queue.
Yeah.
So maybe if he unqueues a few of those, he'll get some more production coming.
And if there was ever a civ to lose out on resources with, as Hera tries to kill a goose here in revenge, Romans would be it, because Romans still have that 5% more efficient eco the whole time here. So Hera didn't miss out on an eco upgrade, which he would have gone for, so he has Bid Axe. And he has skirms before Viper, and his eco's starting to look pretty good now. So Hera has really managed this situation well on the back of all the struggle.
Yeah, there's still this food from the boar to come in, though. So Viper gets Town Watch, which I think is super good on this map. Really, really solid tech there. He is behind on villagers because of Town Watch and the one he lost earlier. Still behind on Res Collected. But his Wood Eco is going to be a little bit better than Hera's because his upgrade does a little bit more with Armenians, even than Romans.
He does get fletching here, Viper, to have an advantage in the skirm more, and then that horse is scouting and will see the stable now. So that's always critical in this map. We've seen players lose games because they don't scout the transitions from the opponent. So now that Viper knows that, Hera may actually change how he addresses the fights too, because Hera may be hesitant, knowing Viper might have spears. But I think Hera, he needs to try and use this time before Viper has spears, still use his own skirms in an attempt to kill any Viper spearmen.
Viper with the mule carts at the back, so he can switch onto stone whenever he wants. If he wants to go for extra towers. Could be super, super useful. Still not on gold, and just taking some hunt right now. 7 skirmishers. Has to make sure he doesn't get greedy again. Right? Sometimes greed is good, but he got punished for greed yesterday when he wasn't producing military. Sebastian just overwhelmed him. He has had the lead with the boars too, so he has to feel like he's in a pretty good position. Just
Viper,
don't let it take hold. Don't let the greed come in.
I mean, Viper's farming eco is not anywhere close to Hera's right now, but he does have the hunt on the backside. I'm just noticing, like, he had some inefficiencies, man. Like, the mule carts, even though you can use them in a creative way, you still have to manage it, and that is so difficult to do. Hera going for the more tested, more true, just farm away, right? Which he's so known for.
As long as Viper can keep these skirms split from the scouts, he's fine.
Yeah.
He just needs to keep track of them, and Town Watch is actually going to help him here. Because he'll see that army moving that way, whereas he wouldn't have seen it before. And he can bring his skirms back to help protect, but the scouts make things difficult. And now the spearmen have to avoid the skirmisher army from your opponent. And this is going to be tough for Viper.
I think Hera, because of Viper's tendency to fight back with Vils, Hera will realize this isn't the time. I think he was hoping that Viper would be surprised, but Viper with Town Watch and tracking the army perfectly seems to know what's happening here. Still no stable for Viper, Dave. Should he add one, or is it just full spear skirm from here?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Really tricky. I think, like, Viper, from the way he's playing this, he seems like he's pretty much decided to stick with this.
Go Pikeman.
Pikeman and Feudal. I don't know how much that helps against skirms, to be honest.
I think it gives him a couple extra hits to survive. And obviously the extra attack is huge if you're fighting against Vils or something.
That was a really good fight for Viper, actually. Yep. He basically kills 2 scouts because of that. Viper, I mean, we've seen instances, maybe not up against Hera, but if he gets a fight like that against a player going scouts, he might be like, all right, I'm not worried. I'm going Castle Age.
I think the thing that might throw Viper off here is he knows how many boars he brought in. He also knows he lost that one Vil, but in his mind, he'll be thinking like, okay, the res collected is probably around even because of Romans when you balance it out, but us casting know that Hera is significantly ahead, and that might throw Viper off just a tad in this game.
I do think he's played it pretty much as he should, regardless. It's not like he's over or under invested. I think this much army makes sense. I think where Viper is failing to realize right now is that Hera is banking res to go castle. And that's where, like, that's the problem with this army comp. If you're just defending with it, that's going to be great for someone in Hera's position. If Hera had Viper's army to deal with right now, there'd be a lot of farms. The gold, the wood could all be problematic. But
no
Viper,
market.
yeah, maybe Viper feels like he's in such a good spot, like you said, and thinks, I can't lose after the boars, so we just defend. But that would be the dream for Hera here. And Hera's like, oh, he's not coming to attack me. It kind of reminds me of in game 1 where Hera didn't want to push Viper. Now, suddenly, like in the land, now Viper maybe a little tentative and not wanting to force any reactions from Hera.
If Hera isn't pushing you right now, you got to assume he's up.
I agree.
Like he's been pushing you the whole time. Logic. He's coming in here with the scouts again. I think Viper's starting to realize he clicks up to Castle Age, and I'll be interested to see whether he gets the Pikeman upgrade here. once he has
It's
the res
worth it.
for it. Yeah.
Like at the very least, just to defend and have random pikes in your base. Like
Against the early knights. Yep.
yeah. Again, you can get pikemen in feudal with the civ, but you could also research halb in castle, which is really expensive.
So
It's I think
expensive.
900 resources,
Yeah.
but it still could be seen as worth it. Now, has Hera tracked the fact that Viper's everywhere? Look in the north. Hera doesn't have any vision there. Like Viper is really trying to use these mule cards.
He still has his horse, but it's not on auto scout right now, and he's not moving it.
Yeah.
So he knows Viper's on that wood line, but nothing further than that.
Viper now in a position where he needs to quick wall to save his eco because Hera's going to be everywhere. And Viper's going to have spears everywhere. Still no pikeman upgrade. Has the resources for it. But I like the early
Pikeman,
walling.
there it
There's
is.
on the wood line. It's not fully walled actually, and Viper needs to notice this. Viper needs to notice this, and Viper doesn't notice it. Viper's in big trouble on that wood line, and there's no spearmen around, so he has to run, and that will be huge for Hera here.
He's lucky there's a hole on the other side too. There's overchops everywhere. Villagers can escape a little bit easier. As Viper's about to get to Castle Age, he does have pikemen, but he loses 4 villagers in that fight.
And no pressure on Hera, right? And Hera got to be feeling good because there's a lot of different areas for him to focus on this map. And he'll be looking around for Viper Vills everywhere he can. Doesn't know about the Vills in the north, of course, but knows about the gold. And Viper has to pull away again. And Hera just knights everywhere right now.
Yep. Viper now going for a TC in a really awkward spot. Knights on the gold as well. Viper can't really quick wall that TC. There's stone terrain there. And he needs to pull away. And this is just super ugly for him. Does have the pikeman there, though.
Yeah, he does have the pikeman there. Hera's just controlled his units so well here using the mobility, right? Usually the pikeman's going to make a difference, but not if Hera's able to just choose when to take the fights. Hera takes another fight. He clears out all the pikes. Viper has to drop a Panic Monastery, and it's all Hera right now. Viper losing his skirms. His TC might be denied still, and idle time everywhere for the Snake.
I mean, it is a fortified church, so he can garrison in there. It gives him a little bit of protection.
Yeah.
But Hera just expanding the eco behind. Important note, Hera did lose the horse in that engagement on the wood line. So he doesn't have a unit that's just constantly scouting around as Viper tries to save these villagers. He's going to do it. DC might go up.
Feels like Viper's best option now, as he does try... Oh, well, I was going to say he was counterattacking. That's a horse. Viper's best option now is to convert anything Hera sends in his way. He could definitely stabilize this. This game isn't over. It'll be 2 TCs for both. But his economy has been so efficient here. 11,500 resources collected versus just 10K.
And Viper finds the eco extension behind with his horse. So that's really, really nice from him. Hera still doesn't know about the stuff up north there, and he might find it with the knights.
Dave, a really important situation to mention. Look at Hera's Fog of War and consider his gold situation. He is about to run out of that 2 tiles of gold on the outside.
He doesn't see anything
he doesn't
else.
Actually see the other
Yeah, no
gold.
horse, bro. Like I said, no horse. It matters.
I know that a lot of pros are going to disagree with us on this because they want to just control it. But you just got to put that bad boy on auto scout.
Oh, that bad boy's got to be on auto scout from like minute... Once you're done with the boars, almost, and identified the transition. I mean, like that thing.
Maybe not at that time. Like
moving.
maybe not at that time. But auto scout would be really nice after you know what the opponent's opening is.
Yeah,
Hera does find the gold. He was looking for it, and he finds it knowing it would be somewhere out here, and he will TC that. So, important moment as Viper comes over towards that very gold right now. If Hera doesn't notice this, maybe loses some fills on the TC, Viper will be 3 TCs, and Viper headed over here.
No, he spotted it for a second. He saw it for a split second. He did spot it, but I don't know if he noticed. Like, was it within his line of sight?
He's looking around right now, Viper, but Viper's had some time to chill. Hera, though, his eco is flying, Dave. The farming eco around the starting TC is still insane. And this is what Hera does on land maps. Like, game number 1 had a lot of water. When water's incorporated, Viper's going to be comfortable today. But on maps like this is where Hera dominates.
Yep. Dang, Viper's food eco just isn't where it needs to be, right? And Hera is just so good at adding farms. Always.
Yep.
Always seems
Yeah,
like he
and
has enough food eco to sustain light cap production, regardless of his save. If he could make light cap with Aztecs, he probably would. Um, and then he's got enough for his TCs to be always running at the same time. It's beautiful.
I think the Winchester move against Sebastian has changed everyone's mind a little bit on what to do in this map with this stage of the game. Now, Winchester like immediately dropped the castle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Leary also did in one game, but now I'm seeing as we've gotten to the finals, both players pretty heavily on stone, and I bet you both players are planning to build a castle in the middle here. And Hera even seems to be waiting for that possibility as
I
his
mean,
knights are just kind of lurking around.
and now he's buying stone. Like, you shut down all of your opponent's farming eco underneath this. It's
Yep.
crazy, right? It's super good.
And
Viper doesn't
Harris
have
is
enough
going to go
stone
up
for a
first.
counter castle.
Yeah, Viper would have to leave, and it's already bad for Viper to lose this TC, to have to leave this eco would be really brutal. And well played from Hera. It takes the perfect position at the perfect time, and he brings all the vills just to make sure this doesn't get denied.
Viper's still defending in the north, but Hera applying pressure everywhere. He's just picking away. He's looking for his opportunities. Hasn't really killed a villager in a while, surprisingly, with the amount of armies roaming around, but he hasn't lost units himself either. And now that castle in the middle is going to force Viper into some stuff as Hera tries to lame all the farms around Viper's TC with a villager. That's becoming more popular as well.
I'm not sure how much of it is intentional and how much of it is just the vills doing it.
No, that one
pretty
was
sure
definitely
there's a bug,
intentional. There's GG.
But there, Hera said, give me those farms and give me a win. And scores was 1-1. And what a great job. I mean, Dark Age was hectic here. Villagers were getting quick walled and boars were being stolen. And Hera came out worse off from that engagement. And he still made it happen in early feudal age. Always had more resources collected because of the farms and ties it up here.
I mean, classic, right? You're playing Romans, you have a 5% eco boost on everything. If you don't get all the boars, it's not the end of the world. And very clearly, Hera wasn't that worried about it. He still had a better eco getting to feudal age than Viper did with all those boars. Maybe that played into Viper's head. Maybe he thought he was further ahead than he actually was.
Yeah, I mean, if you have vills inside your TC or outside your TC shooting boars, they're not collecting res. If you have more vills walking around the map, they're not collecting res. So yes, he did gain more boar meat, but the efficiency just wasn't there compared to Hera's farming eco. Yeah, great response from Hera. That is how I think the series is going to go now. I think Viper is going to find maps that are different from this, that are not the standard land approach, and try and mix it up. Any map that incorporates any amount of water, like Nomad or Spiral, he'll want. And then Hera's just going to take it right back to like Arabia-style maps where he could do that type of game.
Okay, 1-1. We got ourselves a series here. Let's go.
There were a large amount of individuals, and I won't name names because there's too many names to mention.
Okay.
Who predicted a sweep on either side here before this series. And I want those individuals to really think about how bold that was after how good Hera and Viper played this tournament. Just think about that for a moment.
Not unprecedented, though.
Yeah. I know, I get it.
Like, we got to bring that up. It's not unprecedented.
No, I agree. Not unprecedented. But when I saw how good Viper was playing in the earlier rounds, I was like, there's just no way. These two have matched up perfectly so far. I have to say, and you know, maybe I'll ask Viper about it at some point, but I'm not a fan of this whole Armenians on Alpine thing. We're never going to see it again, but for a third pick, and he did it as a first pick in another tournament series in the semifinal. It just really feels like one of those things that maybe was cooked up in training.
Bro, we haven't seen the practice matches, right? Like, he identified his mistake against Sebastian. What went wrong? He got himself to a good position. And who knows, maybe in his practice sets, Armenians have been working 10 times out of 10. And he was just like, okay, I know what mistake I made there. Let's try them again. I think he just, he overestimated his position, if you ask me, from the boards that were coming in.
He made a ton of mule carts, and he was all over the hunt. So clearly, I think that was the focus. From my perspective, now I'm not as fast as Viper. Yes, you can use the mule cart in a way that other players can't use buildings and whatnot, but you still got to move them around and manage it. And from Hera's point of view, he's just got to drop a farm and never look at it again. And for me, the whole farming approach, especially with Romans, just simplifies the game a little bit more.
Do you drop your farms and never look at them again because they're so bad, or
Um, there's a couple reasons I'd rather not get
no?
into.
I guess it's just far enough away from your TC that you literally can't see it.
Yeah, that could be it too. That might be it.
All right.
Hey, but now with auto farm, dude, you better believe that after the 6th farm, I'm just letting the game.
Bro, I'm
automatically
slapping
do it
that.
for me.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah, it's like
controller player got like 100 elo buff after auto farm drop.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you,
dude. Like, I mean, I maintain my original points when they introduced it. I think it changes things, but it changes things for the better for me.
Yep.
So I'm spamming it. Yeah, especially in a low ping game. Someone else on the East US server, farms are flying, man. I'm like Hera, only I'm still somehow losing all my army at the same time. So that's kind of the brutal
Relatable.
part. We got Nomad coming up next, Dave. Let's go.
Persians, Portuguese. Viper with the Portuguese on Nomad, very, very dangerous. Hera's going to try for that eco approach with Persians. And we'll see what he can do. I think he'll try and go for like a little bit of a water contest early and then into the early range. And maybe a stable follow-up to really try and pressure. Viper, more of a question mark, right? Are we seeing fast castle? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on the
map
spots
dependent.
too. Yep.
Yeah, spot dependent. I mean, I will say this right off the bat is we've got a very comfortable map for the Viper. He loves Nomad and he loves this Civ. Hera so far has played some pretty low priority picks with his civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
Viper, higher priority picks. He did his 3rd and 4th pick, and this is in his first wave. This is top. So important that Viper wins this. Hera wins this game. He's up 2-1, and he's going to be like, oh, man, I've got all my favorite civilizations remaining as well.
Hera's not making a dock yet.
He's fine. He's doing it
but
now.
He's not. Like, usually what you want to try and do here with the dock on 9 Villa is fish with 2 or 3 villas. And get it up as quickly as possible, because your TC will go up really fast. Your villagers can bring in that wood really, really quick. And you get all the food from these guys gathering for so long. But instead, Hera sent all of his villagers to the TC in the middle. He'll get it up probably a second earlier than Viper, and only 1 villager fishing on the dock.
Yeah, we'll see what Hera's approach is here. I mean, I'm not the best Nomad player out there, right? But I think even the most experienced Nomad players would feel very uncomfortable being smack dab in the middle right now.
Oh,
because you're like, what direction is he coming from?
the amount of times I have had 2 villagers and you don't look at the map position. You just see 2 vills and you smack a TC down there. It's a 4x4 and then you realize you're dead smack in the middle of that target. In the center of the map. So uncomfortable. It's so brutal.
It could be, in some ways a positive, because if you get pressured, you can essentially expand any direction. Whereas if Viper gets pressured, Viper can't.
But conversely, you can be pressured from every direction. You have no fallback, like one side safe against the water or something like that. So it's going to be tough for Hera. And also, Viper and him are kind of competing for some of these same boars in this area.
Yeah,
so Hera is coming right out for that boar that he sees super long distance away. I think that's the only one that he can spot currently so far.
Yeah, that one. There is another one to the right, though. He's got to scout with sheep on the shorelines too. So a lesser player would lose this villager. In the hands of Hera, he should house trick it. Should be okay. It is going to be quite close if he wishes to go without a house trick, and there he goes. I feel like it would be irresponsible not to briefly explain that, because some poor soul is going to be like, oh, you could just put foundations over boars and they stop attacking and lose their vill. You have to put the foundation over the boar, guys, but hit the foundation. You can't just place it, okay? Just in case you want to.
Dude, I found like the palisade method, I was always confused with how people would do that, bringing in boars, but I found recently it's actually like the house thing is way slower. The palisade thing can actually be really easy if you figure it out. You just got to add a palisade to the side and then alter the angle of the way your villager is walking. You don't have to add it in between you and the boar. And it bumps up against it. It won't hit you. It's really easy once you figure it out. Yeah.
Well, last time I was Huns, I tried to build a house and then try to palisade in a panic.
Dude, that's the reason I had to figure it out, because of Huns. Because that stuff is
I'm glad,
sometimes, man.
I'm glad we understand each other,
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah.
So Hera clicks up. Now, from what Hera has scouted, he knows that Viper has something in the north that is near the shoreline. So that could actually have been a dock villager from the Viper. But maybe he knows that. Actually, hold on. His Vil is headed that way. I think he thinks Viper has docked there.
Up in the north
And
there?
his sheep, Dave, his sheep on the right has somehow missed the dock.
Dude, it's not the first time.
Somehow missed the houses.
It's not the first time with this little sand terrain that ships can go over. This happens a lot. There's a lot of peninsulas here, a lot of outcrops that you can't find. And there was no villager there. So that's critical that he hasn't seen that.
Yeah, Hera's definitely thinking then Viper's TC's probably over this way in the north. And then he's going to go kill Viper's fish. Also critical, Viper couldn't find gold. Look at the gold to the right of his TC. Never scouted it.
Yep.
Just missed it. And so he actually used his dock villagers to take the gold, which is actually the reason why the sheep never was lost there, because the villagers would have found it.
There's layers
if the villagers
to this.
saved there.
It's like a cake.
There's so many layers. Wow. That's crazy, man. Hera's gold is to the left here. And both players going feudal age to go water. But Hera is going to be sending his fires to an area where Viper does not have the fish.
Viper does have a dock up there, so he will get vision on those fires coming around.
Yep.
And Viper, let's take a look at his scouting here. Viper might actually find those docks up there at an inopportune time, because I think the dock in the south will send ships naturally to the south. But if Viper loses a sheep up here, he might actually relocate his fires up north.
I love how this is a grand final. Both players have played to the best of their abilities with what Nomad has offered them here.
Yeah.
And both players are lacking crucial information.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, typically, they figure it out, and we explain why they figured it out. But here, there's confusion. And we'll see which player is able to realize. I mean, Viper, though, is going to be just so happy that he's encountered Hera's fires at this dock.
And his fire is going to the south. It's not coming up to the north. And he always has an advantage in the 1v1 with his fires. Because he's Portuguese. Now, he'll send one villager to repair that. Hera doesn't have vision on the TC up here from Viper. He sees the dock, so he might think this is where Viper was fishing.
Yeah.
He's looking.
He saw another house, too. Like, Hera has really scouted every single shoreline right now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And now Viper shows up with a fire. I mean, this is why a player like Hera probably hates Nomad. Like, he has worked so hard. He's played so well. And then he's probably like, what?
Yeah.
What is happening? How is he hitting my fish right now?
Just got to send more, I guess. Scout with a fishing ship. It doesn't happen. You'll find everything.
Honestly, if it's weak, might as well. But he's going to run right into Viper if Viper's patrolling. And Viper is. So that will be a fishing ship kill for Viper.
He has to know there's docks over on this side, though. Doesn't make sense
That
otherwise.
fire should confirm it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just whether it's forward docks or whether that's where his fish eco is. As Hera, double dock pressure, actually still doing well. Does Hera have a barracks coming up yet? No, Viper's almost walling to his TC as Hera brings in another boar.
Nice shot from him to find that. I mean, this is not easy.
No.
Yeah, and Viper, like, the walling makes sense, but it's wild to me how close he is to Hera, and how, again, little Hera knows about the fact that Viper's there.
Viper doesn't know Hera's there either.
I know. Dude, this is the type of game that really sold us on Nomad like 10 years ago, right? This is the stuff that we love about it, because, like, for the average player, this is the experience, but these guys are far from average.
Viper might, like, dock block with a wall there and start fishing in the pond.
Oh,
I don't know. He doesn't have any wood, though.
Age demo here.
Oh, it's coming in.
Hera
looks away. Viper gets a big shot.
That's massive, Dave.
Huge.
Now, Hera had way more ships, but without that demo, Viper's completely screwed on water here. Now, Viper could actually remain somewhat competitive.
Hera will go after the Vil. Viper needs to pull it away.
Oh, Hera's got it. Hera's killing Viper's fish elsewhere, Dave. Hera's got tons of Navy. Holy.
Really committing onto it. Well, he didn't go for the Archer Ranger follow-up approach, which is what a lot of people do with the Persians. And Viper, I mean, Hera's got a lot of Navy. Viper's got a lot of Vils on stone right now. 15. You think he's planning something? Is this a double castle drop? That's an insane amount.
Well, they're not going to be stone miners for much longer. I have to say, for having 15 vills on one mining camp, that is incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, she's stuck, but not anymore.
Yeah, but he fixed that. Nope, she gets fired. She goes over to eat sheep now.
One too many. Did the
14
math.
is the optimal number, excuse me. And Viper's like, well, okay, Hera might have killed my fish, but at least I still have the threat to kill his. And he knows exactly where Hera is now, Dave. He did notice the wood line from Hera now. So he's going to send those vills forward. The only place to drop this castle is in a position on the opposite side of the wood line.
Yeah,
you do not
cut
place
that
a
tree.
passive castle. Yep. Chop the tree.
Or you do it in front of the blacksmith. Front of the blacksmith is not bad.
This? The deer's going to block it or something.
No, it's fine, dude. It's good. And now you have maneuverability. You're not stuck behind the wood line if you want to make units.
Okay, it makes me uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as Hera's feeling right now. Hera's not even looking at this. Hera has no clue this is happening.
He looked at it. He looked at it. There's nothing he can do currently. He's just being very patient until he pulls away, surely. Surely he's just he's looking at the HP. He's done the math. He has enough time to get that deer fully, and then he's just going to calmly move out of the way.
Now we noticed. Or maybe he did know the whole time. I don't know.
Calmly move out of the way, dude. There's no need for panic, okay? Even if you're uncomfortable, Tristan, we're here with you. We can hold your hand through the castle.
Dude, I was very uncomfortable. I don't know if people could tell how anxious I was. Oh, man. Okay, well, Hera, thankfully for him, he's Persians. So that TC is as strong as the castle. It will stay up for a bit. And he has to expand now. And he's going to have his work cut out for him because organ guns are coming out now for the Viper.
That Siege Workshop is great for Mangonels. Mangonels are really solid against organs, but the problem for him is that it's over there on the left, and he's got his eco spread out everywhere. So those Mangonels, especially if Viper adds in like some monks with redemption, or maybe you could even argue going for a knight play here. He can take out those really easily. Has he seen the Siege Workshop? Yes.
Yeah, so he knows to avoid that. A Viper will probably just snatch a couple relics and then plan on monks. Now, what I like from Hera's position, I know it doesn't feel like there should be positives, but he's got fish. So his food eco is great. And also Persian TCs produce very quickly. So this is very common in this matchup. The Persians have the economic lead, but then the Portuguese have the military. And Persians just kind of struggle with what military to choose from.
Ooh, Vils.
I think on Nomad.
Vils being caught up with. Organ guns still running. Viper has not seen that TC yet, but he does see the deer is dead. So I think he assumes there's a TC over there. And we'll see what the play is. He's walking under Hera's starting TC with a monk with a relic. And Hera just got a villager, so he's going to kill this monk. That's so stupid, dude. Oh, my goodness.
Hera,
and now you keep the vill in there.
Noticed.
Because there's 2 relics.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's so well played.
Viper killing vills, though.
Yeah, Viper's killing multiple vills, and Hera needs a reaction to this. The problem is there's an organ gun on his gold, and there's an organ gun on the wood line, and he only has 1 mangonel. He's about to have the second. Viper, don't try it again, bro. These monks are actually really critical.
He can make it back. Nope,
okay.
Attack ground.
Oh, my goodness.
One step at a time, baby.
I understand the importance of relics. I really do. But Dave, we always immediately think in these situations that the Portuguese player just uses their monks to convert the siege, and then Hera's completely stuck. So, yes, they're cheap, but losing 2 monks like that might end up being something that Viper regrets.
Look at Viper hanging out on the mining camp foundation from Hera on the left side. Hera just abandoned it. He was standing on top of the mining camp location.
He's
not letting him go to stone. He's got organs all over the place. And that wood line from Hera under the TC getting smoked. Same with the organ guns now. Hera clears this. Viper's got
benefit
more.
for Viper is he can split up and be everywhere at once, right? Obviously, you got to be able to manage that while also maintaining a decent economy. Hera has 9 fishing ships. Viper does not have any anymore.
Not a mangonel in the
decision
queue.
from Viper to go knight is actually fantastic here. You called that one 2 minutes ago. Like, knights give you so much more value than maybe even monks.
Yeah, I think even just like buying food from the market for that is crazy. Look at Hera's gold. He's got so much, but what can he do with it, really? Like, just
Yeah.
additional mangonels? Those are going to die to the knights. Then you have to add in monasteries to convert the knights. But then your monks can't convert the organ guns, so they get sniped, and the
Yeah,
knights are sniping
it's just a tech
and you're
tree
split
mess.
up. It's just a nightmare, dude.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, all right. Knight's going to kill the Mangonel. Viper splits away with the organs, and Hera kind of falling apart right now, as maybe we expected he would once Viper got this castle up. It's such an important part of Nomad, and he's not going to stop there. He's planning on another one. I think he's going to go to the right side here, where Hera has this eco.
Hera's adding a barracks now. It's a sign of the times, and the times are not good for Hera because Viper's going to split his eco in two, literally right under the starting TC. He's going to go for a castle on the right side. He knows about the stuff on the left side, and Hera's adding a stable of his own, so maybe Viper needs to wall up or something, but I don't think Hera can ever beat this army, at least not in the next few minutes.
Well, if you can, like, the way to beat this is somehow use your economy to make more units, right? But he's not really floating resources. And then also, another thing is maybe a faster imp with a good castle position, but I mean, this is just like, he's not going to get a faster imp with this situation. His villagers are running all over the place right now.
He's just really utilizing the Persian TCs at the moment. Like, that TC still being up is huge, right? He's just making more. He's making more vills. He's got a hefty eco lead, like you mentioned. But it's just, can he survive long enough? Because Viper's adding that second TC now. And Viper has just been on the cusp of killing a ton of vills for a very long time.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there's just so many weak vills from Hera. Hera could have lost 40 this game if he wasn't paying attention to them.
Viper goes for a tower on the other side of that stone, too.
It's smart from Viper to do.
Hera's
actually going to farm there. Excuse me.
Those vills are weak.
This is farmland.
Viper's got knights there if he notices.
Yeah, true. Hera's villagers that were in the TC that just got castled are now chasing these organs.
He's so distracted, dude. He's so distracted right now. It's crazy. And Viper will just go for another tower. Hera can't invest over there. He's chasing the organs still. I mean, his eco is still okay with those fishing ships, but now below 60 vills. And Viper's catching up.
Those fishing ships better be fishing fast, right? Like, this is... They're going to need to be...
Oh, no, the vills are rushing. There's an organ there. They're weak.
And that Viper will just repair the tower, too.
Yeah, and the knights come back.
Even if it's on fire, he's just going to repair it.
What do you know? Another TC from Hera in the north. Another TC.
I mean, Hera has really put up a big fight here.
Yeah.
I think for a while here, he's felt like maybe even when that castle went up, that the odds of him winning this are slim against Viper. But he's put up a fight. It's just,
I respect the resilience from Hera. He's not giving up. And
I do.
Why should he? Because he's come back from maybe not this exact position, but similar positions to this before, where he just kind of ekes out a way to survive on the map. However, Viper is all over him, and those vills are weak. Oh, no! Does this even go up, dude?
It's a slaughter.
Oh, the organs are turning back in the north.
Pain.
They turned away.
I don't even know where we're looking now. Like,
no, on that TC. Sorry, the north of that TC that was trying to go up. The two organs to the north of that turned away. But Viper's
another castle from Viper.
Going for another
Hera
castle.
maybe saw it, and he calls the GG. And Viper gets the win that he wanted. Again, his home map and his civilization. He loves the Portuguese. And he played it well here, Dave. But it was an interesting game because, like, Hera knew the importance of water on this map.
Yep.
And there was just, I think, a little bit of confusion from him on the water. And normally when you're going for the castle drop approach, you're okay with losing your fish, but you don't want to lose them right away. And Hera wasn't able to kill Viper's fish right away because of not knowing exactly where Viper was. And then Viper chose the perfect castle spot because he found where Hera was located with the buildings.
I find it interesting that Hera did not go for land there and instead just added more feudal water.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like something he would normally do in that situation. He's usually the first guy to go on land, even on Nomad. Water into that transition, but he chose not to. Maybe he had a reason for it. Maybe it was just confusion. Again, like you said, he was just unsure where Viper was on the land or with docks.
I think it was really hard to make informed decisions in this one for both, right? But Viper's Town Watch upgrade and the fact that he had naturally built that house wall really helped him to make it easy for him. But I agree. I think Portuguese are like really tough to stop in the hands of a capable player, but I don't think you can allow yourself to be castle dropped here. I think that at the very least, make some army in feudal. Hope that Viper makes a defensive castle, but things to forget about for now. And again, dude, back and forth series, both players playing incredible right now.
APM was even. Surely that's a win for Viper.
Dead even.
Dead even.
I think they've always been relatively close in APM, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Hera's a bit faster these days.
Viper this tournament, I don't know if it's probably has to do with like the force drop-off command and maybe some other things that have been introduced, but I've noticed his EAPM going up this tournament. Like he was averaging 110 one map.
Okay.
And that's like he's usually high 90s, low 100s, whereas Hera's like 115, something like that on a standard lane map, right?
Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, certainly these players just bring in their best game right now. When a player loses, it's just because the other player has played like a slightly stronger god right now. And same thing we said about Hera after he lost the first game. I think he's got to go for a map which plays towards his comfort zones. Any of his home maps would do, but I should clarify for those looking at the draft. Sacred Springs and Land Madness, those will only be played if we get to Game 8 and Game 9. They are set maps. I don't actually remember which one's set for Game 8 and which one's set for Game 9, but that's the way the draft is structured.
Game 9 Land Madness would go crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Chinese mirror.
True. That's what it would be. That's what it will be.
Like
100%.
Yeah, and if you really want to find out who the better player is, that's probably a good indicator right there.
Yeah, that's true. A mirror matchup. Yeah, mirrors when it's a decider always feels so nice.
It's crazy,
I remember so many of the Game 5s on Mudflow in Hidden Cup qualifiers were like mirror matchups. It felt so nice.
This is an interesting one on Spiral. We got Berbers for Hera. We got Gujaras for Viper.
Gurjaras have not had a good win rate so far this tourney. And they've been picked a lot by, I know Tato picked them. I think Viper might have picked them as well. Game 4, though, this is Hera's map. Hera loves this map.
Yep.
It's been interesting to see his development on it because I think everyone remembers the first time we saw Hera on Spiral in that game against freaking Andy. And since then, Hera's just been like, this is the map for me. Expanding all over is the key. And also typically good for a lot of stable units. So that's probably why we've seen the Berbers for Hera. And Gurjaras for Viper makes sense with that in mind as well, to have the camels out there to counter any knights.
So Viper's sending a villager forward very early. This is the generation where you're very far away. You're up against the edge of the map, which can help you stay safe because half of your base is basically fully walled by the darkness on the edge, right?
Yeah.
But it also means you're really far away from the water. And with Gujaras, it's always kind of a question, like, do you want to go for that water first, or do you want to go for the mill first and garrison? There's not many hurtables here, so Viper is going to go for the water initially.
Yeah, but he doesn't see the shorefish yet, so he's going to keep wondering. And also, because of how far it is for both players to walk, it is actually possible
they both dock the same
Hera,
spot.
Yeah, I thought that, but Hera seems to be going the other way.
It's going north.
So.
And he's sending 2 vills. Viper is just sending 1. Little bit risky because you can't really wall them in here. He does have a camel scout, though, which should be favored over Hera's scout to start this one off.
Yeah. Yeah, in Dark Age, the camel, it's weird. The camel scout does more damage than the scout, but or less damage, but has more HP.
Has more HP.
It's like 50-50.
Has more
right?
HP. Yeah, it doesn't get the bonus stuff until feudal age.
Until feudal, yeah. So it's not too scary until that early feudal moment.
Yep.
They are both close enough to the berries and the deer where I think both should consider it. And not for the first time this tournament, Viper has actually not gone to his berries to get the extra cow and the sheep, which is very weird.
Maybe he just wants to leave him in there, dude. He'll put a mill on there eventually, and then he can just garrison them up, you know? Like...
Oh, that's true.
Why open the door when Hera's just going to come on along and lame them? I don't think Hera wants to sit and hit that fence 6 times or whatever and break through.
Well, it's just interesting because I think Hera right now has more information than the Viper. He says, okay, Viper's not docked my side. I'm going to push in my deer. Viper's probably docked the other side. Viper's like, what's happening here? My dock was weird. I still don't see a dock from the opponent, and he's looking for this information. So I think Hera is going to assume correctly. I think Viper, I mean, it's nothing like game breaking, but the way this Camel Scout is moving right now is making me think he might be a little bit thrown off by what he hasn't seen yet.
I don't know. Loom is coming in for him. Hera. Does he have Loom? Nope. Classic.
No Loom. I love the 2 Vills from Hera. I find it to just be the safe play. And when you're talking about Hera, he's typically taking the safe route. With no Loom, those villagers would still probably be somewhat okay against the Camel Scout. And now he comes over, and he's going to see Viper's dock, and he sees 1 Vill, and Viper does have Loom, but in a minute, Hera's Scout will be strong enough to kill that. So Viper taking some risks there, in my opinion.
I think Viper, yeah, now he's going out to the fence. Watch Hera come along at the perfect moment to lame both of these. That's probably going to be the way that it works out.
Yeah, and Viper will have another sheep coming back towards the mill. A lot of players are still playing Gurjaras differently with this sheep bonus. I remember Tato and Doubt, they like to pull the sheep out of the mill at some point and start to eat them underneath
Only
the
keep
TC.
4 or 5 in there. I think anything else is too much.
I think, yeah, I'm with you. I think you need to be eating some of them here, especially with how Viper's eco is looking. So he still may do so.
Well, I mean, he's got food in the bank, right? You can. The beautiful thing about them is you don't need to have them outside the mill until you start eating them. Like they can still generate extra food, even if it's.
Look at Hera here, fighting the Camel Scout, but then Viper's going to hit feudal, and then his damage pretty much evens out. Yeah.
And now that Camel's at a point where his villagers are fine on the fish, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, true.
He'll go for the stable. Viper will spot that. And Viper goes for double bit axe and horse collar. And there's the full wall from Hera.
Yeah, not the first time we've said that from him on this map. He gets some good hits on the camel. And also, it feels like he got an extra wood line. Maybe he didn't, but the full walls for Hera look super clean. Viper is going to have a lot more to work with here. I guess his third wood line's kind of off to the side, but...
He's got basically the same base as Hera.
Front of the base is just more awkward, I'd say.
Yeah, maybe. With that.
That's actually no. Hera built
it's the same base.
Hera built his houses. Yeah, Hera actually built his buildings in Dark Age on the front, which is changing the way I'm thinking about it. And Viper built his houses more to the side. So,
Viper could garrison the fish if he needs to.
Quick walls the Vill. And Hera might be happy enough to just sit here and say, okay, that's an idle Vill. Those are some idle fish. But it should be expected that Viper's going to be on the way here with something. Viper just now adding the stable. Just now getting those farms down right now. You could tell Viper a little worried about losing the Vill, runs away with it. And I think Viper just has to accept this is going late. Hera will be walled. I need to defend from whatever army he sends out right now.
Ooh, okay. Probably get to Castle Age without any significant damage, right? Which
Hera will? Yeah. Okay,
which
go ahead.
Civ are you going to prefer here? Gujaras or Berbers? Kind of similar in some ways.
Do you remember the games? There was a game on Acropolis. It was like Titans League 1 or 2, and we saw Berbers versus Gujaras a lot, and it was just a massive camel war. I always felt like Berbers were a bit better because of having the cheap camels. And it never really got to a point where, you know, Frontier Guards came in for the Gujaras. So I'm going to lean towards Berbers because of that. But neither Civ really has a great option to counter camels beyond their own camels. Gujaras don't even get pikemen. At least Berbers get that.
It was super interesting that Viper added in that second camel scout. Kind of pushed Hera away. Still trying to manage his fish, and he's got the spearman chasing after him, but Hera's eco behind, still looking strong. Viper's eco looking strong as well. Very close and res collected. Hera does have the speed on his villagers, so his farms are going to be a little bit better than Viper's.
Yeah, and that bonus will not feel so strong now, but it'll feel stronger once their Vill count goes up. Will also be helpful for Hera to move to the sides. Now, at this point, players just kind of assume that stuff's over there, but we do need to just show Viper has actually scouted both of those areas. So he can already think in his mind pretty easily of where he's going to drop TCs. Hera, a bit more in the dark on that. We'll have to scout that later on.
Okay. Pretty safe for both. Would you go to stone here early if you're Hera? Or are you just trying to expand your eco?
Well, if I'm Hera, I never go unique units.
Okay.
If I'm me, I'm a big Camel Archer guy. I think Camel Archer could be pretty strong here.
Yep.
But I think the economic approach is then awkward for you. So I think, if anything, you're thinking like 3 TCs and then taking stone. And maybe you adapt from there. Like maybe Viper does have too many camels and you need something more. I don't know. It's not a decision you do now, though.
Oh, Hera got a little bit too aggressive there, believing in his micro and the scouts. He lost one, and the other one's at 2 HP. So that final scout, which can be so difficult in the hands of Hera later on, if he still had 3 of those alive, upgraded to light cav, is going to be down to its last breath there. Good job from Viper so far.
Do you remember MBL, the MBL Tato series, this tournament?
I
don't
remember
know
some of the game.
one.
I didn't cover it. No, I watched your cast of it. I was busy for that day, though. I missed the end of it.
Well, so the start, right? MBL's Gurjaras. And I go, okay, guys, MBL's got a save that doesn't get pikemen. How many spearmen is he going to make?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
He made 26.
Of course he did.
Viper, of course, can't get pikemen. So I don't think adding more spears here makes much sense.
It's not still a thing where if you have camel scouts queued and you make it up to Castle Age, they instantly pop out of the stables, right?
I never even heard of that. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So they instantly eject when you make it to the next stage?
Yeah, there was a thing for a while.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so, but I honestly never even knew that was a thing in the first place. So,
well, we're going to find
sending them out anyways.
Actually, this camel scout would have already completed, I guess, by the time he hits Castle Age. We'll see.
This is great, though. Like, the fact that you can make these now and you don't have to wait gives you an edge over Hera, who just has the cheaper ones. So, I think that as Hera doinks that weak unit there, I think that that's pretty smart from the Viper. And look where his camel is on the left-hand side, Dave. He's checking this out. Hera might have noticed the camel.
Oh, he's just out of the line of sight.
Yeah, Viper's mobile elsewhere right now. The Viper just not moving the unit. That's the difference. And Hera knows the camel is there. Hera will send his own camels over, and Viper will just notice and then have to pull away.
He'll pull away into that TC, though. So information, if nothing else.
But Hera trapped him.
Oh, my God. What a quick wall there from Hera. Nice job. Sick, holy. I was like panning away. I didn't expect him to do that. Crazy.
Viper pre-walls his TC in the north. Hera scouts that. But yeah, Hera with that move is just kind of like, how do you like it, bro? I mean, Viper's kind of the one who started that way back in the day. Everyone's doing it now, but that was sick. Like that's also something that you don't have to do. Like, you'll be happy with just doing damage to Viper's unit there and chasing it away. To get the free kill there is sick.
Viper's got Travamptious trying to clear up the camel from Harry. He does, and then he'll simply run away. The one advantage I think Ajaras have here, other than like their bonus damage, which is kind of canceled out by the cheaper camels from Berbers because they'll just have more. They do have a better monk tech tree than Berbers do, and a lot of times when you're going camel, the other player will start mixing monks, and then you go monk camel, and sanctity is huge. If we're talking about that later on in the game.
Viper, Viper has been chasing these camels for so long, and he's distracting the TC fire with that other camel. Getting real fancy here, Dave, with the camel micro, I have to say, but Hera's still in a fine position, as is Viper.
Both running away. Both want to heal. Viper has the Travamptious. They're kind of hovering around, waiting for like a 1 HP camel so they can come in and snipe it. But Viper's just backing up, and he's trying to save this one. He's trying to save this one, and he does.
Yeah, both players have done a great job. It's been a great final.
Yeah.
Camels also just don't kill villagers that quickly, folks. So we are not going to have this become a big raid game, most likely. Now, scouts in the north have something to say about that, and Viper reacts. But I'm thinking because this will go late, because camels can't kill vills, we should see a fourth, a fifth. Like, I think we might even see 6 TCs from these guys and just spamming vills all over the place.
Hera losing some fishing ships. First eco kill of the game. Crazy.
Guys, that's just wild.
Gold, second gold mining upgrade for Viper.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he recognizes what type of game this is.
I know, but
be.
he doesn't even have the second wood upgrade. Like, it's just it's kind of weird.
Wait.
And he gets it again, dude.
He
This is a
it.
hockey issue. That's a hockey issue. Yeah.
Yeah, so he must have accidentally gone to a mining camp instead of the lumber camp.
Yeah.
And that's good because I was just going to point out the fact he didn't have bow saw, so.
He's going to grab the relics,
So you said Gurjara monks get sanctity, you said,
Berbers
right?
don't. Berbers don't. Yeah. And Gurjaras get redemption as well. Berbers get redemption, but sanctity is a big one in the camel monk war.
Yeah,
also,
no,
I think,
I agree.
I'm not sure if Berbers get block printing. I guess we have this hoverable tech tree.
I think they do get it.
They don't get it.
Okay.
And Gujaras don't get it either. So
okay. So the monks basically really suck for the Berbers. They half kind of suck for the Gujaras.
No. Berber monks are okay. They're just not.
You're just.
They have redemption, dude. They have redemption.
They'd get a participation trophy, but
they
have
really redemption.
Wouldn't be. Okay. Well, here are these monks, and one monk is enough to scare away. Regardless of sanctity or not, one monk is enough to scare away the other because players really don't want to give their opponent the edge here.
All right, Viper's got the one side of the map. Hera's got the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a while, folks.
I really think outposting is key, right? Like, there is no reason when you get up to above 100 vills on a map like this, there is no reason when you have the skills of these two players to not be building outposts everywhere. Well, it's going to be key.
Look at Viper getting sanctity, something Hera can't get, and he's also looking for the other relics. There's one up against the edge of the map in the north, and he's searching for it with a monk. Yeah. And he doesn't see the one to the right side either, as he's got so many camels targeted for conversion. Hera needs to run from this. Can't hang around.
Hera's monk in trouble. Interesting, we actually had only bloodlines for Viper there. He's going to get forging now. Hera will still be an upgrade up over Viper, but Viper being more bold with the monks. So maybe Viper start to feel like he could take a bit of a position here in the front of Hera's base. Make things awkward for him.
What are we thinking, like, super late game? As the monks come in, Hera potential to snipe those, but they have sanctity. So I think Viper gets at least 2 conversions here. There's 1, there's 2. Doesn't get the 3rd.
Yeah, that is actually an acceptable fight for Hera because you kill the monks, but you're hoping that you win the engagement anyways. It's actually very close right now.
It's very close. I think Viper does clear this, though. But still, Hera can replace these very easily. And it's actually Hera keeping some of the weak camels alive and clearing it. Wow.
Yep. It's a big fight. If Viper, like, when you have the monks like that, you want to maintain healing and you want to get future conversions. Viper pulled himself out of position there. And Hera didn't hesitate. Remember, Hera did have armor and Viper didn't. So Hera was up an upgrade.
But still, like, the Gujara's extra bonus damage is huge. And the fact he got a couple conversions, but I mean, I was looking at that fight, and that was just one of those that could have swung either way. And more of Hera's units survived with like 1 hit remaining. So they were able to keep dealing out damage. It's such a weird thing, right? How those fights scale.
Relic was found. Of course it was.
Of course.
So Viper, bringing that relic in. Now you're starting to see these blue dots from Hera on the right side. And those are the outposts we talked about as he goes for +2 attack. I don't mind it, right? It's going to be a camel war. You know, continuing to get upgrades on the camels, to come take engagements for some map control is good. But I do wonder, can Hera go only cheap camels from here on out? Does it need to be like pikemen and camel? Because at least he has pikes. We'll see.
I don't think there's an argument for pikes. I don't know. Not in a game like this.
Yeah.
think you're going gold units, right? And if you run out of gold, you run out of gold, but at least you gave it your best shot. You need something to control that middle area.
Harris Castle. On the right side, this is going to protect some stone and gold. But more than anything, I feel like it actually just protects farms, which is so him.
Yeah, and that's the Hera special, right? You get you protect the stone and farming space, so you can make another castle to protect more farms and protect more stone, and then you push forward.
Yeah, but you do wonder, with all that gold in the middle, will someone go out for that? And once imp upgrades come in, will Hera's be safe on the right side now? Because that castle's slightly out of position.
So
and not on a hill. Like Viper's castles will do more damage and be harder to take down because he's placed, well, one of his castles on the hill.
Yeah, and I think Viper needs to come to the realization that at some point Hera's going to get into raids, and we need a castle back near your starting TC. We need another castle over on the right side somewhere before you prioritize those hills. I know the hills are great. I know he loves hills, but you got to protect that farm eco because Hera's going to be back there sooner rather than later.
And I think Viper will start to realize that once he sees Hera starting to move around. You start to think a little bit more about where you're vulnerable. And he'll find Hera here. He actually sees relic number 4, by the way, which is a really big deal. Viper is waiting for his unique tech now, and he just clicks it, and he basically didn't want to produce another unit until he had that because it discounts pretty heavily. I think 25% off all of the food investment.
The outpost wars have begun on the left side. Hera's going to be sending a villager in. His villagers are super speedy, by the way. Handcart with Berbers.
Yeah.
Thing's not going to be caught, and that's going to be a sick eco behind that, too.
Hera has a window.
Worker efficiency last minute. Just want to point that out. At this stage of the game is insane.
It's normally crazy. Like 75.
Yeah.
Normally like 76. Yeah. Here's the deal. Viper hasn't collected as many resources. And Viper doesn't have near as much army right now. And Hera's going to be imp faster. Hera's camels are just as strong as Viper's camels until Viper gets frontier guards and until he's also on heavy camel. Hera has a window here to out-camel the Viper massively.
Yeah, Viper does have Kshatriyas, though. So he's caught up on the unit cost difference from Hera, and he just needs heavy camel because he also has that bonus damage advantage for Gajaris. It's just all about the timings.
The interesting thing is, too, is Hera will also have extra attack over him. Let's see what Viper goes for armor. I mean, that's the obvious one. I wouldn't mind a double blacksmith here, too. Trying to get the second blacksmith for more upgrades.
Hera's got a stable in the back of Viper's base. Crazy. But Viper finds a good fight. Takes out a few camels surrounded. That's a good start for him. He's trying to protect his villas onto that TC. And Hera just still waiting for that heavy camel upgrade as he gets ballistics and fletching as well.
Yeah, he should camel archer switch, I think. Like with defensive castles, I think camel archer with your own camels could be insane here. And Hera's trying to think about those upgrades. Maybe that is for his castles, and maybe it's just heavy camel for a while here.
I think that's just, redundant. Like, it's just in case.
It's one of those things you do. Yeah.
Frontier guards on the way for Viper. 28 seconds. I mean, if Hera wants to take a fight, he's going to have to take it, like, right now. Because these things are going to be strong.
It's good for Hera that he's found some opportunities. Viper, don't take it. You don't have frontier guards yet. And Hera won't see a visual difference in Viper's camels once frontier guards come in. So it's actually kind of difficult to notice that upgrade comes in here.
You'll notice it with this fight right here, though. Yeah. This is going to be brutal for Hera. Absolutely brutal. And he's like, I'm out. JK, I'm gone. See you later. Bye. Need something else.
That upgrade it takes the camels up to 7 armor. Hera's has 2, and he didn't even have the final armor upgrade, so that actually was even worse.
But look in the north.
Yeah, Hera's being such a pain there, right? And he's going to have 3 stables. That's bad enough where Viper might actually want a castle there in normal circumstances.
Look at the amount of camels in the middle. I think that castle, with just fletching, you don't have to respect it. I think if Viper was using all of his camels, he's got some attack in that outpost, you just push right through this castle and try and snowball in the middle there. I think you could take out the whole camel army from Hera. But once again, he needs a castle up north in his eco.
Yeah. Yeah, and Hera... It's a very interesting game because Hera has the worst units, but he has the better position. He's got the middle gold. And he doesn't have the relics, but still, he has more control right now. There is one area vacant, and Hera might want to castle it on the right side next to Viper's dock.
Yep.
But 160 vills for Hera, that's actually fine if you're taking bad trades.
Oh,
It's like
Viper.
the economic way of taking the fights.
Viper sold 600 stone to get this army mass of camels.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Viper doesn't. Maybe Viper feels like the way this game is set up, he can't expand with defensive castles anymore, and he simply just needs to, force the issue. And he is going to force the issue with the Treb. Hera needs to engage against this. I mean, he needs something more, I think, against Frontier Guards. You need something more, surely.
He's
than just your own
still
camels.
picking off eco in the north, though. Like, he's still doing stuff. And Viper's at 170 pop. So, like, if you're a Hera and you lose one castle, might not matter, but this is a big fight. This is a big fight, and it's scaling so well for Viper. How could it not?
Viper's fighting uphill. That's the thing.
my
Hera's like, this is the
God.
best case scenario for me because I have the hill bonus, and he's still getting shredded. I think Viper's got to get back to his trebs, Dave. Hera will want to stall this out by sniping the trebs. Viper just needs to get back to those trebs. He's still working on dealing with Hera's annoying little raids. Hera's consistently producing there. I love that. And Hera's actually making a bomber cannon out of the Siege Workshop. He is going to try and hold this position somehow. But he can't engage against the camels.
Villagers in the north from Viper on that stone are going to get cleared up, and Viper's going to go down to like 100 vills. But he still does have the camels. He's selling resources for gold. His gold supply is very limited. He does have the relics, but still, he's expanding to the south for another TC. He's really, really struggling with gold count as Hera's at 158 vills, Viper's at 106.
I think Viper knows, okay, bomber cannon will come out, and the repairs, Hera could maybe go on for a long time, so I'm going to make this difficult for him. He dives with some of his camels. He pulls back the rest. Hera's researching hoardings in that castle. Hera's out of stone. The bomber cannon hops out. Viper has preemptively brought vills to repair from that bomber cannon. And Viper is finding gold on the right. That is an area that will save Viper, but the gold situation's bad right now, Dave. Maybe Hera could make more. Maybe with the amount of eco he has, he could take this.
I mean, Hera's still... Finally, I think those stables in the north have been neutralized. So that's a weight off the shoulders from Viper. Maybe can allocate a few more camels down south here. But these two trebs trying to hold. Sniping the bomber cannon's a great start as Viper still goes in. And Hera's out of stone now. He's out of stone.
He is out of stone. Viper will have reclaimed some gold on the right-hand side. He's sending more villagers over there. There's still more stone around the map if players look for it, but there's not a lot left. Hera loses this side. That farming eco is no longer safe, Dave. He doesn't have another castle back there, and he's just found it difficult, with the exception of the sneak stables, to find a fight that's acceptable, and maybe he feels like he has to take this. He will always lose this fight against Viper's camels.
Hera's being so patient with this, and you can tell he sees the problem, and he's just trying to figure out a way to solve it right now.
Yeah.
And it's taken some time. He's trying to hold. He's buying himself time to mess up camels. 52 camels now on the field, and he's trying to force Viper out of position, but Viper says, no, I'm going to stick on this hill.
Yeah, Viper doesn't want to leave because then Hera might send some units to kill the trebs. But here we go. I mean, Hera has way more units in queue. Way more units in queue. So if he wins this, it's purely because he can make more of them. And Dave, is it close? Maybe?
Well,
is it close? Hera's castle still up?
You know what happened
there? He's got a cannon galleon on the way?
Viper had like 7 or 8 camels chasing one camel archer, and Hera pulled him all the way out, and he just pulled him way out of position. Gates from Viper is sick!
Hera will win the fight, though, and Hera has a cannon galleon, and Hera's cannon galleons can go for these trebs. Hera's castle will still stand. Viper's eco's in ruins from the raids earlier. The camels can run around. Hera has held, and he's had this gold in the middle this whole time. And the castle actually stays up. You've got to be kidding me.
That's a crazy hold from Hera. Great job from him. Just desperation, right? He had a problem. We said it. He's massing up enough camels to solve it. And he was pulling Viper out of position there so he could defend against the trebs.
And there's Pikeman. Actually, I love it. I know it feels so weird. But he needs something else if gold runs dry. And now, maybe Hera feels like, okay, he's not threatening me on the left. Now, finally, I can go raid. Where have I not looked?
Yep.
I have not looked to that right side. And if Viper is getting raided there, he has no castles himself. He's going to get picked apart here. We've seen it hundreds of times from Hera.
It's kind of wild that Viper decided to go after that castle on the left and not the one in the middle.
In the middle,
all of
yeah.
the gold is there from Hera, and Viper's just
True.
consistently had gold issues, and he's been selling. Like, if you page up, he's been selling like a madman to try and get gold for more camels.
Yeah. Well, he never had the right side was all he had for additional gold. I guess like the north as well. The north was getting raided consistently. Yeah. He never really had a lot of it, but
and
also
there go the relics.
He's spending full price on gold. So I'd be curious to see the camel created number at the end here.
Spearman for Viper.
No. He's going Gurjara Spears.
And Hera's just going to snag the relics right in front of his face.
Yeah, dude, that's the way to do it. It just makes life easier. And Viper is going to need a fight here. He's going to try and pop up. He's going to try and pop up with spears, which are a feudal age unit. And Hera is just the perfect eco behind it. He's still taking the gold in the middle. The one thing I'd say is he needs to castle the right. Like, he needs to get Viper off of that. But I guess if you push right through the heart of Viper's base and hold these relics...
Hera must be looking at these like, I thought mine were useless.
I mean, the pikes find a really good engagement, considering... I don't know how much damage they're actually doing because Frontier Guards is in, but Hera has more camels. Viper's got 40 units in queue, 35 of them are spearmen, and Viper calls the GG. And what a crazy game it was. That hold from Hera was phenomenal on the left-hand side. I don't know how that castle's still standing.
Yeah, really good job from him. Just to mix in everything, too. He had a bombard cannon, then unfortunately got hit by the Trebs. And then he brings out the cannon galleon at the perfect moment and wins that fight in the center because he pulled Viper down there. But critically, like I said, there was a camel archer that was trailing about 7 camels and then went right through the fight and past it. And those 7, I think, could have made a big difference there if they were fighting right away.
I do wonder, Hera did have some access to gold, but back to your point, I do wonder what happens if Viper tries to push the middle, right? Push the middle. If he has his camels there, then Hera's not taking the gold. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think does happen and why Viper probably didn't try it. I believe that Viper was felt very vulnerable in the north and that he wanted control and vision in that, that plane there because Hera... he was just going to send reinforcements to keep those stables up. Otherwise, I think that's probably what Viper was thinking. But, I mean, an amazing game. And, these are 2 of the world's very best firing on all cylinders. These players have brought their best, and it is a joy to watch. I'm so happy with it. Hera's going to love that, though. If he fell 3-1 down there, even in a best of 9, he could maybe start to lose a little bit of momentum. Now it's just tied up 2-2.
And that's going to be the way this series is going so far. It's just one game for one game for the other. Chatter says, why was Viper so focused on a meaningless castle? Lol, I would never make that mistake.
Well, they'd never be here in the first place to make the mistake.
Hey.
Right? So.
I want to see that guy play.
It's so easy. I think what's great about this game is how... easy to understand it is past a certain point, right?
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I'll go back to what I said. It's easy to understand, but what you don't realize is the 15 things that those players are doing other than the main fight that we are showing, right? And I disagree with that individual. I feel like there was very little to question there. I do feel like Hera just kind of prepped that game to go longer economically with his castles. And with the amount of villagers he had, Hera was just like, I am going to have more eco. And even if my units are worse, I'll outlast you. It was sick.
Yep. I mean, in fairness, that guy's probably never lost to Hera in his life, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Type a 1 in chat.
Oh, here we go.
You are undefeated against both the Viper and Hera.
Let's pump up the engagement numbers here. Come on. Have you ever lost to the Viper or Hera?
A lot of promising individuals watching right now. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. I mean, I'm proud of them.
Dude.
I personally have lost to both, unfortunately.
I When the Red Bull ladder first came out the first day, I was playing on controller, and the third person I matched up against was Hera.
Well, that was probably a great time.
Yeah, that's even the loading screen. I'm like, God damn it.
I in the beta, I played Hera in his first definitive edition game ever, and I beat him.
Hmm.
He might not have had a couple hotkeys, and he didn't know how shift queuing worked because that was new. I was showing him the game, but I did win. Now, things have all gone downhill for me since, but I will always remember that moment.
I remember we played a game in the
Oh, no.
beta. I don't
Oh,
remember what it
God.
was though. It was like some
Oh,
no, it was just Cav Archer versus Cav
no.
Archer or Step Lancer or something, wasn't it? I
Oh,
remember. It was Empire
I don't.
Wars.
I don't remember. I just definitely don't remember any games we played early on.
Oh, okay.
It's just all forgotten.
Okay, apparently I did something to you.
No, I don't remember.
Oh. You remember
Dude,
that's no, you remember every game you've ever played, every game you've ever cast. There's nothing else up there, dude. Your head is completely full of Age of Empires. There's nothing else there. There's no room. Don't give me that.
Remember.
You remember
I don't know what to
every
say. I don't
single game.
remember. I don't remember it at all. Definitely don't. Moving on here to the games at hand. Game number 5 going to be, well, we don't know yet, actually. They haven't loaded up, so we have more time to talk about me not remembering. The worst thing is, I'm gonna just be honest because listen, we're here for content, right?
I'm not wrong.
The worst thing is, guys, I do remember, and the thing is like, don't take this the wrong way, Dave, but I've had some pretty stompy wins against Dave, right? Just demolished him. But
Okay.
his wins are just so like memorable. And it's not because I lost memorable. Yes, that's part of it. But like petarding my TC on Nomad when I'm at 98% going to the next stage. Like, do you remember the freaking Mameluke game on Mega Random in dude, that would have been 2015, 9 years
Yeah.
ago.
I was 2 hours without gold. And
Oh
then
my God.
I found 12 tiles of gold in the one corner of the map I didn't scout in the back of my base.
Yeah, and like
At 2 hours in.
And I don't even feel good about my memories. I just remember how I got flexed on, basically. So that's the issue.
Do you remember the first cup game we played?
Oh, yeah, the commerce sneak base at the south of my PC, and you went monk seed when I was in the middle like an idiot. Was it that one or was it the other one?
Yeah,
I
it
think you beat me
was.
twice.
I built it all up and I showed up at the same time too. So it wasn't like insta Mangonel. It was like I had a Mangonel, 2 monks,
Yeah.
and a tower up at the exact same time. But yeah, you beat me so often. It's just
Yeah, I feel so good about it too. Yeah. I just have no style, I guess.
I think you've gotten
Dave,
more stylish over the years for sure. Like when I watch you
yeah.
play, you do have an entertaining style now. More so than you
Well,
did in the past.
it's always entertaining when someone gets a lead and they don't just close it out like Hera or Viper. And you're like, oh, this guy got a lead. How's he gonna throw it? So if nothing else, I offer that.
Oh,
yeah.
You too? Okay.
Yeah, me too. So game 5 coming up on Arena. And did you get the spec bug?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna restart my game. I assume there's a countdown still. So
50
we'll
seconds.
soon.
You got 50 seconds.
It should be good then.
Sometimes it doesn't start up right away.
Don't stress me out. It's fine.
39. 38.
What's the Civ matchup?
35. 34.
It's opening.
31. 30. 29.
It's still opening.
25. It's Burgundians Bohemians on Arena.
It's
man, Arena. We're fine, dude.
We're fine.
Arena.
We're fine.
Take your time, bro. Take your time.
Burgundians Bohemians. I mean,
yeah.
We'll talk about it. We've seen it a bunch. Could go either way. But best of 9 here, guys. So players have a little bit more wiggle room if they lose this one. This is a map that, well, we'll talk about it in game. It looks like everything's working. All right, so game 5. As you said, Dave, we're going to have some time to break this one down. We've got Bohemians for the Viper in the yellow. And we've got Hera playing as the Burgundians. Both these civs are top tier on Arena. We've seen this matchup many times. Yeah, I mean, 9 villager start changes things ever so slightly, if that. But what do you think about the matchup overall? Close matchup, or does one Civ come out on top?
Uh, I think it's close because the Burgundians can do the light cav meta so much better than the
Hmm.
Bohemians can. Um, and a lot of it, if Viper wants to, pressure a little bit with the monks or has spearmen accompanying his monks, a lot of it is going to be determined on the early snipes on the monks from Hera if Viper's contesting in that way. He does have a great map though, and Viper will look at a map like this and be like, okay, I can sit here forever. Like
Yeah.
stone, gold, another gold back. That's crazy.
So I'm not sure if you can necessarily justify this thinking against the Burgundians, because if the Burgundians get the relics, they're not only getting gold from that, but they're getting the food and they're just so good, right? But I have seen situations where I feel like if you have a real killer comp in late game, or maybe on arena, you just kind of go for the minimal investment. And if
Yep.
the Bohemians can go up to Castle Age super quick, maybe get those TCs down, maybe research fervor from their monastery to increase the villager speed. I think like it's going to put pressure on Hera to try and do something against Viper before Viper gets to Halb and Hoofnitsa here.
You know what the ultimate meta is going to be in 3 years from now when everyone's so good with light cab that they're sniping all the monks?
Straight boom.
No, you were way too quick with that. You find your opponent's base, right? Let's say Viper sees Hera's gate there, right? And then he looks at his own gate. You go monks for a monk push, and then you palisade wall a corridor to your opponent's base so they can't touch you with the light cab. Easy.
Wait. Let me make sure I'm understanding this. So you bring the monks forward. You're saying you place a gate.
No, you palisade wall a corridor between your base and their base, so their
Oh,
light cab can't get at you. Yeah.
Dude, that's like, I want to see that. I hope some Loey the Legend out there is like, oh, let's do it.
It's a little too far now, but I've seen some arena generations that are like 15 tiles away. Very doable. Very doable.
Dude, listen. All it takes is one person, all right? We have now told thousands of people, somebody try it. Just imagine, right?
Yeah.
I like to say that anyone under the rank of like 1400 elo in this game plays this game with fear because they think, oh my God, I suck. My opponent knows better than I. And that just is a very obvious feeling. People are scared of the fog of war.
Mm-hmm.
I even feel that way sometimes. So imagine this guy's like kind of like, okay, I won one game, but I just got a Civ win, blah, blah, blah. And then he's scouting where Hera is and he sees what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he just sees the palisades. I think most people would instantly assume the opponent had something cooking.
Yep.
And they would not think it was easy to counter, even if it's bad.
But like I always said, dude, you don't have to have the best strategy. You just have to commit.
Yeah.
A commitment to a terrible strategy is better than just sitting there and struggling to decide what to do.
I agree. I also think it helps you learn more because you're like, if you commit to a bad strategy and it just absolutely sucks, you're like, okay, I committed.
Well,
but then if you're kind of like dipping your toe in the water with another strategy, you never really know.
Well, the one, like when people ask how to counter something like a monk rush or how to counter something like a fast simp or whatever, as Viper's going for the barracks here, no surprise, Hera also with the barracks. So probably light cap from Hera and probably spears to defend monks. My advice on like how to counter that is play it yourself a few times and figure out how you're losing and how people are beating you. And you'll find ways to counter those strats. Like, you know how to counter a tower rush if you've tower rushed 10 times and you failed 5 of those. Because you know what the other person did. What do you have to
say for the people who just lose with every strategy, though?
Well, then you just, get a job, dude. This isn't the game for you.
I was just going to say, because, like, instructions unclear, no strategies work here. I'm not learning anything.
Yeah. It's also fun to have, like, moments where you go for a strat you know is probably going to lose, but if it wins, it's hype, right?
Yeah, I know. And it when you're that player, it doesn't put you under any pressure because you think this should lose.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of like, oh, I just saw Viper and Hera do this. It worked, and they made it look so easy. Yeah, there's a lot of players like that, right? Who come up with the wacky strats. Anyways,
Market's
the only
stable.
thing I can really mention here about Hera's build is he went up a villager faster than I was expecting, and it does seem to me like he's gonna have to idle ever so slightly. Maybe tried to cut too many corners.
Oh, she moonwalked backwards to the TC.
She's styling, man.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Like Hera is like added an extra vill after waiting a little bit with idle time, and now he's gonna drop off everything and hope. Drop off everything, and oh, it's such a painful feeling right now for him. And he's up. There we go.
16 seconds. It's like 2/3 of a vill there, Tristan.
Yeah, not bad. Also, Viper's the resources brought in for Viper looking pretty good. Oh, wait a second. Hera didn't go for Dark Age eco upgrades. He just got double bid axe.
Well, that checks out with Hera. Like, he doesn't
It's
really
interesting.
respect the first round of farms with Horse Collar anyway.
Well, it's interesting because every build I'm used to with Burgundians is you don't build a farm without Horse Collar, and then you are definitely getting double bid axe. Usually the Burgundians have collected a bit more, but maybe he feels like his Castle Age time would be later if he did that.
He's getting Horse Collar now for the second round. He's getting the second wood upgrade. All of those resources that you're putting into upgrades are resources you don't have in the bank, too, and it takes a little bit of time for you to recoup that.
Maybe
if he had
I think I was wrong, by the way.
He would have
I think
been
he
slower.
did get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he did get it, and he didn't get Horse Collar for some of the farms.
No. He did get double bid axe early. He had that for a long time.
Okay. I could have sworn I saw something on the right side, but there's just so many things happening in this arena game, you know, it's just hard to keep up with things. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's super tough to track.
Well, Hera doesn't know that Viper's adding scouts yet. Viper knows that Hera's adding scouts. Now, Burgundians are always going to add the scouts because of the cheaper upgrades, but Bohemians don't always do this. So this might be something that is surprising to Hera. And Viper drops the perfect town center, I would say. And also drops the monastery. This will be a scout war and maybe a light cav war, but usually if you're adding everything Viper's adding, he won't be able to afford.
I mean, Viper might want to he might want to opt for more speed on his scouts just to avoid the light cav because they're a little bit faster. Although once Husbandry comes in, Hera should be able to catch up to him. And Viper's going for Fervor right now. So maybe just like running around looking for monks, trying to grab maybe 2 relics would be optimal for him.
Yeah. So Hera, to expand on what you just said so people know, Hera has light cav, and light cav are 0.05 slower than a scout. In order for Hera to now be faster than Viper, he would actually have to research Husbandry. It's a bit interesting how the balance works, where the scouts just don't get completely overrun because they're weaker. They are actually a bit more mobile.
I like it. A lot of people say like light cav should be faster than a scout or the same speed, but I like the idea that you can just remain with scouts, and Viper's actually getting light cav now. So he wants to be able to snipe those monks, and critically he has the 2 spearmen, which Hera doesn't have right now, and they're Bohemian spearmen doing extra damage. So he's going to keep Hera away from these relics for quite a long time, and Viper is faster to the second TC, faster to the third TC now.
This build from Hera, it seems a bit off from what I've seen with Burgundians in the past, right? It isn't like it is way different than we would have seen from Viper today. The light cav, obviously that's great, but he's still just 1 TC, so it's expected that he could invest this much into the fight here. But light cav from Viper, and yeah, Viper pulling ahead with resources collected, and Hera now getting Husbandry. So Hera could potentially soon get a full clear up in the middle with that.
Hera doesn't want to go more than 3 or 4 tiles away from his gate either with this monk.
Yeah, smart.
He doesn't know where the light cav are. He now kills the Jaguar, which can't attack his units, but can attack Viper's units. So that's kind of funny.
He's helping Viper out.
Yeah,
Nice
he's
guy.
helping him out a little bit.
And Viper sees the situation, and Viper should sense Husbandry now. So I'm not really sure what to suggest for Viper in these situations. This is where I always struggle.
Don't send the monk on the right side. He's got Fervor. He's really quick. Oh, he noticed, dude. Oh, man.
Oh, he saw that.
Oh, Spearman go down, though.
Oh, this is risky. This is risky. Close the gate. Oh, my goodness. Way too close for comfort there. I think Viper might be able to get this, but Hera gets the double notification. He gets the attack notification and the conversion notification. And Viper has to now heal up the Spearman.
And Hera gets his
Ooh.
first relic. Second relic,
Ooh.
sorry. But he does
Well,
lose a monk there.
Yeah. And basically, like... But now can Viper come home? These guys could bring the enemy to town.
Yeah,
Hera's going to use this time to go...
He should be fine. He's got fervor on these monks, so that's one relic for Viper that should come in. If he could get 2, that would be fantastic against his investment from the Burgundians.
Man, I'm noticing as Viper gets a conversion, I'm noticing that, like, the units are just, like, stopping for Hera when he's chasing. It's not Hera's fault. It just seems like sometimes when you retarget or re-patrol, they just stutter a little bit. I've noticed that myself recently. Hera will be feeling like husbandry isn't paid off in the way he would have loved. But Viper will still not have as much map control. But now he's got enough spears to really threaten. He's going to have 6, and this is Bohemian Spearman, so that's no joke.
Yeah, and his eco is scaling upwards. Like almost 1,000 extra res collected already.
1,000 more resources than Burgundians? That's just...
I told you.
I think the Clown Council would be saying that Viper's arena experience paying off, maybe not really the strength for Hera that I would expect it to be closer than that. He's got to catch up. But he does have 3 relics right now. Just fighting over the 4th right now.
I don't speak for the Clown Council. The Clown Council can't even get like on the same page themselves.
That's fair. But that is very common for most councils on planet Earth. I mean, as an American, I very much relate to, people not being able to agree on councils. From what little I know about politics. So what's the plan here for Viper? Is the plan forward pressure, or does he wait it out a little bit?
I think
Does he
he's looking
try
at
and
his
play, like,
map, and he's just going to
super
play
late
into Hufnitsa, dude.
Yeah. Hera wants these monks, and Hera's going to find the monks. Benefit of the light cav.
Viper
Yep,
did get a
snipes him.
conversion, though, so that's nice.
Yeah, and Hera might feel like he's just going to have a bit of dancing to do with the light cav for now, but maybe he'll never truly get this relic. It's going to be tough. And Viper might also feel like he doesn't necessarily need to rush to get it either.
I mean, denying it from his opponent is not a bad thing either. Both guys are going to click up around the same time. Neither one of them has a second castle building, though. Viper's just making it now. So that might be the difference maker here. Hera's going to need to make that second building.
Yep, and there's his university. Viper has his imp in queue. You can tell by the resources going down. And then Hera will be imp right behind him here. But Hera is advancing forward. He's hoping to convert the spears, and he will actually get all 3 conversions here because Viper's diving, and this should be good for Hera. I don't think Viper can kill all these monks.
No, that's a bad fight for Viper. That is just objectively a really bad fight for Viper. So that relic is now free, and he has no information on the front side of his base. But like I said, it's just going to be a slow burn for Viper, right? 4 barracks now. Chemistry is coming in. Loom is coming in for him. It's going to be hand cannon, halberdier, Hufnitsa.
And it's a comp that I don't think Bohemians have easy answers to. Now, I just gotta listen. I say this. I'm joking. I'm having fun. All right. I recognize people aren't exactly serious, but the amount of people that like to call GG after a fight like that, when they brought in almost 20k resources and are about to go for a massive imp battle, GG. Because Hera gets 1 extra relic?
Bro, think about it this way, right? To many people, okay, Age of Empires is our life. Age of Empires 2 is our life, right?
Yeah.
To many people, Age of Empires 2 is a similar relationship like us to hockey. And
okay.
Let's say we're watching a hockey game, right? And I see Skinner give up a slightly soft goal. I'm telling you, this guy needs to go down to the AHL, right? I'm like, send him down. Game's over, bro. Can't win with this dude. Absolutely can't win. Like, I'm getting belligerent. And that's the relationship that a lot of people have. So I can see the GG thing. It's fun.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Viper's coming forward.
It was only like 5 people, but it's just so funny to see such a thing. I had to call it out. You're not too wrong on Skinner, by the way. And Siege Workshop probably going to go up. Castle for Viper is going to go up. Hera's Castle will be up faster, though. And this is going to be a big Trebor. But Viper will have Bombard Cannons coming from that Siege Workshop, which Hera will not have.
Skirms. The council is ashamed that Hera picked Arena on as his home map to go Skirms.
Well, I'm thinking about what his options are right now. You definitely can't go for more stable units with success. You can't make hand cannons right away because you need to wait for chemistry to come in. So I think Skirms being out there just kind of keeps your archer ranges working and gives you a range unit. Skirm hand cannon, I quite like, actually.
Okay. Well, Viper, he's been on point today. He's going to try and protect this bombard cannon. Can I just say, this has just been such a nice, technical, high-level Age of Empires 2 set so far.
Exactly what we want from a final.
There's not really many differences between these two. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's been the perfect final so far. And we don't always get that, right? We've had some sweeps here or there. There's been a lot of tournaments. Hard for players to deliver consistently. Big things I want to talk about now, though, is that look at this stone position, right? Both players have their additional stone pile near where the castles are.
Yep.
And then also the neutral stone is near where these castles are. The castle war decides this one, Dave. I don't think they're going to have a lot of time.
Well,
so,
Viper getting masonry. It's a big upgrade. Hera does not have that.
I remember Viper researching masonry. Tato researching masonry against Hera.
Hera's going to lose this castle, dude.
Hera's castle will be down. It gives Viper access to all this stone. Will put Hera in a position rather where he has to pressure Viper, and it's going to be tough.
This thing is
Hera's
toast.
castle will fall. Amazing spot for Viper. Now Viper needs to think about how he's going to deal with lots of skirms and hand cannons.
He made a Mangonel for the
your
skirms.
Castle, and you have your bombard cannons out there, you could actually end up taking out the skirms as he lands a big shot there on the skirmishers, Viper.
And the Hussar try and come through,
here.
and the Mangonel turns out to be a good investment as Hera has to try and snipe that down and loses Hussar because of it.
Yeah. And Hera's reeling right now. Like, he really doesn't know what to do. His own bombard cannon's on the way. The Halbs are good enough for Viper. He really needs to be mining a bit more stone, I'd say, for another castle.
Right now, Hera's got...
Are,
I mean, he's got the relic advantage, right? So it's constantly in the back of his mind, but he can't take that gold forward. We are looking at the gold at the back of his base, still some there, but now we're looking at the stuff forward from Viper, and you know, if this goes late enough, Hufnitsa will come into play in the hands of Viper, and that is terrifying.
Viper right now, his thinking is just push. He did toss away a lot of Halbs, but he actually bought this castle, dude. He bought 500 stone, so that's one way to do it. And that allows an entry into Hera's base. Hera's bombard cannon micro is going to need to be on point, and he gets a beautiful snipe there.
Beautiful from Hera. Now you can think about like redemption block printing with the monks to not only convert the bomber cannons, but also the Hussite wagons.
What do you think about, instead of Trebs from your castle, what do you think about just mass Hussite wagons with your Halbs instead of your own skirms, if you're Viper? I think it could be really strong.
I don't know. I think you got to be careful. I think you want to put your gold into bombard cannons and like Hufnitsa. Because you only have one relic, and you know you only have one relic, even if you have the gold control right now. I love the fact that he's just killing the archer ranges. Just get rid of them. Siege Engineers on the way is huge. Don't let Hera mess up anything.
Siege Engineers for that extra range is going to be massive because Hera is getting some ridiculous pickoffs. He kills 3. And suddenly, Viper needs to panic a bit. He needs more bombard cannons, and Hera could maybe push this castle.
Oh my goodness. Hera out of nowhere, and that was right before Siege Engineers came in for Viper. That is actually tragic. So he's going to have to spend a lot of resources to get those back, and the skirms don't have a counter now because there's no bombard cannons on the field right now.
Yeah, now Hera does have to be careful. Viper's been mining lots more stone. So Viper should be in a position to repair this for a bit, add more cannons. He's got 3 siege workshops towards the middle. He is repairing this one, though, because he's producing a cannon from there.
Hera has to know what's going on. He's like, okay, I don't want that cannon to come out. I don't want it to come out. It's at 74%. Viper's committing. And the siege workshop goes down.
Still 2 cannons here for Viper. I've noticed that even in the migration game, it also felt like as Viper's exposed, that Hera has fantastic bomber cannon control.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he out-microed Viper with the cannons there. And Dave, this felt like Viper's game. Hera's really mounting the pushback right now.
One shot, bro. Turned it all around. Absolutely turned it around, but Harris still has issues, right? Like, he took some damage on the bomber cannons there. He's coming in with the Hussar. Skirms are dealing with the Halbs, but Viper's got 22 behind that in the queue.
Man.
And Viper goes for another castle forward.
Viper's just tossing his Halbs into the meat grinder. He's dropping this castle because the game is falling apart for him. I don't know about this. I like the castle from Viper, but if you're looking for positive signs,
He's got siege, dude. He's got siege engineers with 3 bomber cannons now. And Hera doesn't have the range that Viper has. So he's got to be careful. Viper repairs. Hera doesn't have any trebs to really range this yet. They're on the way.
I'm laughing at Hera's castle. It's actually in the back of his base where the Hussite wagons are. That's a lot of bombard cannons.
Oh my god.
Viper has the extra range. Castle still being repaired. How important is that stone right now?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Viper really wanting to keep this castle alive. It falls. It's got another
Hera
one.
We'll move on to the next one. The Skirms have killed 30 Halbs, and Hera always has just enough hand cannons behind. Skirms actually have been amazing here for
Treb
Hera.
is here for Viper to help push back those bomber cannons. He hasn't killed one yet. Still has Siege Engineer's advantage, and Architecture is coming in too, but that's so much damage that Hera's just shitting out onto that castle, bro. Holy, how many bomber cannons, bro? There's 7.
And it's Burgundian, too. Burgundian bomber cannons do more damage. We've seen that here, and Hera alive in a game where it looked so rough for him. Can Viper turn it around? I mean, you're just kind of seeing the same steps here. Viper is going to mix in his own hand cannons. He does kill a bomber cannon, but I'm not seeing enough Halbs to protect Viper's cannons now, and Viper and his cannons are all going to go down! Completely overextends, Dave. And Hera now could take the Treb and take this game.
Oh my goodness, bro. Hera brought himself back into this game with 1 shot. Literally 1 shot.
And Viper, I think, felt like he had the position, and he calls the GG. Listen, that's the first win in this game where we had a player winning on a map that I felt the other player was favored, right? And obviously it's slight with these two. And also a comeback. I think that's really the first time, in this series. That is a big one for Hera. It's still a best of 9, but that will be one that lives with Viper if he loses this final. What a great shot from Hera, though, to start it off.
Oh my god, I'm rewatching it now. The way Viper's unit stacked up on it, too, is just so bad,
like,
bro.
He's probably, if you're wondering what's happening there, he's probably like, I have the lead, let's just mix in some other things, right? So he places the mining camp. Oh, God. And he just, all 3 units just clumped right on top of one another. Yikes.
Yep.
I also think that moment where he was producing out of the Siege Workshop, which was going down, kind of hurt him. And maybe he would have benefited a bit from the Hufnitsa upgrade in, and stopping the Halb production. There were a lot of instances where Viper just patrolled his Halbs into skirms.
Yep.
And lost them. I think that was also another really big factor in him losing this.
Bomber cannon diff right there from Hera.
Yeah, 9 cannons. Well, bomber cannon micro difference. They both actually had 9 bomber cannons that game. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, but Hera had 9 at one time. Viper had 9 over that. Like, Hera didn't lose one. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think Hera lost 1 that game to a Treb, and Viper obviously lost every other one there. So, GG. Bomber cannons are more expensive than Trebs, guys. And they're, with the control of high-level players, they're more important as well, I would say. I don't think in the past that we had, like, games being lost because Civs didn't have bomber cannons, like, years ago, right? It was never really a discussion.
Oh, that Romans Byzantines game yesterday, like, you knew loading in from Sebastian against Viper, like, he loses to bomber cannons.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect example. You knew loading in, unless he killed him in Feudal Age, the game's over. That's why Sebastian resigns with 180 pop or whatever he had.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is, like, people were, there was more, people were more vulnerable in the earlier stages, too, right?
Yep.
Now, when we're looking at these two, especially on Arena, but like some other maps, we're just like, well, technically there's potential in this age and that age, but realistically, it's minor differences as we build up towards the late game with these two. So,
Do you think like yesterday, like that was just a mistaken Civ selection from Sebastian, right? Like even if Romans are technically your best Civ there, if he picks Byzantines, you're dead. Like you got to go for something else, right?
um, I mean, if he picked Romans and he tried to go Centurions, I would have been like, okay, he thought something unique works well. But yeah, I don't know what he had left on the draft, but Romans just
He
looked
had
really good.
Slavs and he had something else. And
I mean,
you always have an extra Civ there. Like Slavs are going to be better than Romans. Slavs aren't great
Slavs are
against
way better.
bombard cannons either, but like
Yeah, but you've got Siege Onager, you've got
you
Boyar,
got
cheaper
monks.
castles.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's a learning experience. What you can't have is a game or two where you look back and say, "Man, that Civ didn't work."
Yeah, I never gave myself
Um,
a chance,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. Sebastian didn't give himself a chance there. And honestly, while we're on the topic, while we wait, Tato, at least the way Hera played his Civs in the semi, makes you think Tato should never have allowed Chinese and like Mayans, or Cumans. Like,
Mhm.
there were a lot of games in that semifinal too where Tato might look back, and even in the third place match, honestly. So,
Sebastian had Slavs, Romans, and Bohemians left, and he had
oh wow,
Black Forest after that.
really?
So, I mean,
Did
Bohemians
he?
or Slavs would have been way better there. But then you're thinking about what you use on Black Forest. I think Romans aren't even bad on, like, compared to what you're matching up against there with Byzantines, Romans aren't
Yeah,
bad on BF.
I have a
Sure.
theory on that. I actually have a theory. I'll bring it up off stream. I have a theory on their whole Romans thing,
Yeah.
but I'll keep a tight lid on that. But at this point, will be Viper's choice on what we see next. And he's certainly got some options. Arena was actually on Hera's side of the draft, which I thought was interesting. So technically, thus far, people have always won on their home maps, I think. Well, no, Viper lost Spiral, so um, but we're getting close to the cutoff where it's set maps. So to explain this, Sacred Springs and Land Madness will not be played till Game 8, Game 9. So Viper basically can choose between Arabia and Haboob right now. Trying to get a clarification. Let's see. Game 8 is Sacred Springs and Game 9 is Land Madness. So that is set. So I think neither player is going to play Chinese until those potential games, right? Because Chinese is so good on, I think, both of them, actually. Um, I think Hera goes Mayans on Arabia, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Is that a yes you agree, or yes your brain just started to smoke and you don't really feel like thinking about it?
I agree. I was just looking through the other civs here. Sacred Springs is not a map we see a lot.
Yeah.
Magyar's works there, right? Teuton's also kind of works there in a weird way. But
Bulgarians.
that's probably yeah, Bulgarians. Dude, I've been thinking Bulgarians are kind of underrated for a while. Especially when you have shorefish and you can just get those blacksmith upgrades in instantly and cheaper. Feels like
Yeah.
you
I
can
mean,
find timings there.
I think Bulgarians are great in Empire Wars
Mm-hmm.
because you start with eco. The core issue with the standard game with Bulgarians, they have no eco bonuses. And
Yeah.
so you're up against eco bonus civs who basically know, okay, they're going to have to come aggressive because they have instant man at arms and fast blacksmith upgrades. I hold against that, and you take a tiny advantage and get ahead. So,
Bro, a matchup we haven't seen in a long time. Mayans and Aztecs on
whoa,
Arabia, baby. Let's go Mezzo.
Mezzo matchup. All
Let's
right.
go.
Mezzo matchup, Aztecs, Mayans. Dude, I mean, Aztecs, Mayans used to be the only Arabia matchup. It was Aztecs and Aztecs. It was Aztecs and Mayans.
Well,
Maybe like an Aztecs
Aztecs were
Vikings.
banned in every tournament. That's
Yeah.
because they were so good, right?
Yeah. And it's actually a very interesting matchup to break down in terms of the text. Like I feel like the Aztecs and the Mayans were made to almost match each other in certain ways.
Mhm.
You know, the unique units, the unique techs, and then the way the economy works. Aztecs bring in resources a bit faster. Mayans, their resources last longer. So I think Mayans is better slightly. Um, it depends on how it plays out, of course, but Aztecs obviously have a great opportunity. But Viper's got to tie this one up, dude. He's got to tie this one up.
Mines are also great in Anvil start because you don't have to go for the houses right away. So you don't have to get
Yeah,
looms. So you can
yeah.
just take advantage of that initial villager instantly.
They are. It feels weird to say significant, but I think Mayans and Chinese are significantly better in Chinese starts. Sorry,
Huh?
nine deal starts.
You okay? Did you smell
Um,
toast?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
But yeah, a Hera will just have that extra Vil. Viper will have some extra gold to make up for it. And Arabia now, we'll see what type of gen we get. We've had some pretty aggressive gens and some pretty closed gens throughout this tournament. And here we are. Game number 6. First time in a long time we've seen Aztecs versus Mayans. And it's kind of fun to see that here, Dave. We've got Aztecs for the Viper in the yellow as he looks to tie it up. Hera's playing as the Mayans in the blue. And I just said, like, what type of gen are we going to get? Viper's map gen looks pretty nice.
Viper gets the Hera gold as well.
And he also gets the H gold, which,
Yep.
you know, is a thing. And then Hera's map, I'm just thinking about how he played the semifinal where he could wall easily. He could wall, but it's going to take some work, I think, for him to wall up over time.
Actually, I think it's more consistent to go for the big walls here. And when you look at it, it's actually not that much surface area you need to cover. One in the north up there, you wall to the houses in the center, and then you wall between those wood lines on the left. It seems like a lot, but I think if you go for a full circular like egg wall, you're actually going to be spending as many resources as you would on the big one. Meanwhile, Viper just needs to wall to the edge of the map and then funnel everything to his TC, and he should be fine. The berries are exposed, but be fine with that.
So when Hera played Mayans in the semi, he went full wall, one archery range, and pretty much just sat in his base until he outboomed Tato and then pushed Tato back. And I'm going to be honest. Felt like Hera's map was perfect. He played it perfect, and Tato had no chances there just because of the map and the Civ. Here, Hera's not going to have such an easy time. And also, I think Aztecs can give the Mayans more problems, particularly with stopping the walls because of that extra gold that Viper has. We might see an early barracks here. In fact, he might build it now. And with 2 militia and that eagle and not needing to mine any gold to justify it, Viper could disrupt the walls and kind of stop Hera from having that easy build.
I like all these little things. He was going to put the barracks next to the wood line, and then he's like, oh, I need to push my Ibex to that. And then he repositioned his Vil so it wouldn't like de-push the Ibex.
Yeah, now he's hoping the Ibex.
There it is.
He's hoping the Ibex won't like bug out because they get weird around trees sometimes. So
Hera's up. 19 pop. No loom.
So starts with the extra Vil. Didn't have to research loom, which you would in a standard start. So typically Mayans basically would have that extra Vil starting in feudal. But because of starting with the extra Vil and the 9 Vil start, he basically has had that this whole time. And he's going fast archers. I mean, Hera, he's not going for anything that we didn't expect. He's not going for anything that Viper didn't expect. It's just a question of can Viper do anything about it? Hera didn't even leave his base, dude. Like, this is just, he's just getting all the resources he can as he prepares for the enemy's arrival.
I mean, if you're Viper, okay, here come the militia. I was going to say, if you're Viper and you like see that uptime, you could even just go into skirms yourself as an opening.
I think that's actually his plan here because he didn't go to golds. And that's what's so nice about being Aztecs here because you can afford the 2 militia without having to mine gold to get the gold.
It's very adaptive build too with the 2 militia. Like you can go into the archers later if you want to send villagers on gold later. You still have 60 gold available to produce that first archer. Or you can go into skirm.
Yep, and now Viper here on the front. Now,
weak villager from Hera.
No loom.
No loom. Weak
Hera,
villager.
what are we doing?
He's trying to make an archer range. Viper's not in feudal age yet, though. He's trying
Loom
to kill
came
it.
in, though. Loom came in the last second.
Couldn't get it.
Oh.
He delays,
And actually,
though.
hold
And
on.
the militia are here just on time, and Hera's going to be like, oh, God, not again. Come on.
He gets the quick wall down.
Oh,
Beautiful
sick.
play from Hera. Yeah,
Sick.
beautiful
But
play.
he delays it. He delays it. He bought himself enough time to get to feudal age. Like, Hera tried to go up super quick. I'd love to see those militia go under and snipe those pigs. That would be funny. But he went up super quick. And now Viper is actually going to get his archer range up at the same time as Hera.
Yeah, very similar time here. Yeah. What I like about Hera's play is he also immediately queued eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna have a bit of an edge there. Now Viper without his eagle is really gonna struggle to find any real damage against Hera. But you gotta try with the militia to disrupt in whatever ways you can at the moment.
Another eagle there. Militia are holding and being very annoying, we have to add, as Hera tries to go for a mill. Just disrupting the eco a little bit. Already delayed the range like we talked about, and it's just skirm from Viper.
Yep.
He's got 2 on
Just
gold
skirm.
back there. He's thinking about the wall off to the edge of the map. And Hera thinking about that wall off we talked about too, so...
The key difference here, though, is Hera has the cheaper walls. His resources do last a bit longer, and he has that extra vil. So you favor the Mayans because of that. The Aztecs, where their eco is sneaky underrated, is with the carrying
Farms.
capacity on their
Yeah.
farm. So Viper needs to focus on that farming eco right now.
I think the best farms in Dark Age, aside from Khmer, I think.
Yeah, I think it might even be...
It's
I don't know.
comparable
I
with
don't know
Khmer.
the map, but I think it's comparable. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Khmer is still at the top, though. Militia's
Viper's-
still roaming. They're still hanging around.
Viper's military count a little deceiving right now because he does have those 2 militia, but they are still around. Aztecs also produce military a bit faster.
You shouldn't be out
But-
there with the Vils, dude. Like...
Oh, God, he actually
he
got the quick wall
sniped.
down.
He
And
shouldn't have been out there on the other backside of the berries with the Vils there. Like, you
He's still got
can't.
this other one.
You can't, dude. He's
Yeah.
still engaging with her. He does lose an eagle. So does Hera. Viper has another eagle on the way, and Viper is going to lose another villager just because he's being so aggressive here on this front side.
It's just think back to the feudal age timing and think back to the fact that Hera was just up faster, produced a bit more army, and then has good army control with it. It's just perfect timings from Hera.
Yep.
And behind it, the eco hasn't taken a hit. So now you're essentially 3 villagers behind. And if you're in Viper's position, you're really hoping to find some kills on armies. But the skirmisher opening seems to be completely, well, I don't want to say useless, but it doesn't feel like it's as strong because Hera mixed in the Eagles, which was a really good play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these
The
eagles are a
positives now you're
problem.
thinking about for Viper is the fact that you still have your skirm mass and you are Aztecs.
And he's got a good
You-
map.
you- yeah. But, like, it just really isn't looking clean right now. As he gets the quick walls, still has that, and then doesn't get the last one and loses the villager.
It was so sick. He just didn't finish the job. Oh, no.
Oh. Dave, like the worker efficiency, the villagers running around, Viper's having some real issues here, and Hera's just walling up, farming up. I wonder if you think about how Hera has played with Mayans, right? I wonder if Viper just simply wasn't expecting this much aggression. Because Hera before, he just sat behind his walls, right? Maybe Viper was expecting more of that. And this has been really as aggressive an opening as you can perform with the Mayans here from Hera.
I think just a little bit of sloppiness creeping in here for Viper as well.
Yeah,
Like keeping those
yeah.
villagers on the other side of the berries. Maybe playing yellow color. I don't want to say it nerfed him a little bit, but it's hard to see the outlines up
Yeah.
against those berries there.
I mean, that villager right there is sloppiness, right? What we just saw there. And Viper's going to know. That's the worst thing, right? When you are playing at this level and you lose it, you're like, man, I'm getting sloppy. And it can kind of live with you. And I wonder how much of his mind right now is in the arena game, honestly. That game where he had the perfect position, and now
He loses 2 more vills. Oh my goodness.
20 minutes later, he loses that game from the perfect position, and now he's 6 villagers down here in Arabia, and things are quickly falling apart here for Viper.
Yeah, great pressure from Hera. I mean, he hasn't lost an archer yet, I think. As I say that, he loses an archer, so great job. 2 archers. But, I mean, he was just roaming around and using his eagles as the meat shield there, and Viper had to focus fully on them. And now Viper is kind of doing a doubt, which is, oh, crap, I've been hit a lot
I've
here
been hit.
in Feudal Age. I just need to drop that market, send everything to gold, and hope for the best. Hopefully, auto reseed on the farms isn't on for Viper. We'll know once she comes back.
Yep.
It is. Oh,
It
no.
is. Well, he's got the market, bro.
Still, you need more on gold. You don't need food.
Yeah, and Hera will be in a great position here. Viper realizes it's bad. He'll continue to play on here. But man, like when I was thinking about my prediction for this final, now remember guys, best of 9, Viper loses this game. He's still in it, but it's worth talking about while we can chill. Like, is the level of consistency, right? That Hera shows up with. And every game has been the same level. And if you are not being consistent as well, if you're Viper, even you will be punished. As we saw in Arena and as we're seeing now, but
he's going to go up
gotta
soon.
say it. Yeah, he's going to go up. And so what do you do now as he builds his third barracks? It looks like it's going to be all in Eagles.
It's just, it has to be all in Eagles. And Hera has to know that too. So Hera can counter this by just walling his base and then keeping an eye out for forward villagers from Viper. Also, Eagle crossbow is better than just only Eagle.
Yeah. I don't think trying to be like play to the counter here and go for longswords or something with Lions makes any sense.
No, you got a better setup. Just do the same thing.
Yep. I mean, there is a world where if you get to plumes are incredible long term as an archer against eagles. But
if you try to get to
even
plumes
still,
right now, you're going to throw the game. So.
Yeah, exactly. You got to wait for that. Yep.
Oh, Hera sees another vill. Uh-oh.
7th villager down for Viper, who started the game down a villager as well. Oh, man. And Hera's going to be up a little bit later. So I guess Viper's window is about 30 seconds here. He'll get the 7 base attack on the Eagle Scouts once he's in castle. I like how Hera has not allowed Viper to breathe here. There have been instances in this series where both players have respected the other, which, of course, they command respect, but Hera would get kills, and he would not back away, and he would continue to hold the control. Just perfect.
Well, also, like, Viper's being very stubborn. Like, he was very stubborn with those berries. I think if Hera was in the same position as Viper, he would have just retreated and farmed.
Hold the vills. Hold the vills. Yep.
Castle Age about to kick, though. Castle Age being faster with these Eagles. Instant upgrades. It's a good opportunity for Viper to get all of this stuff out of his base and start a push forward for the first time in this game.
And he will have more Eagles than Hera. He will have more Eagles than Hera. And Hera is pretty much giving up on archers from what I can see. He's not going to produce any more. He's getting +2 armor. So, faster military production. Tons of villagers on gold. Aztecs have come back from worse. Viper could be winning the Eagle War, though the expectation, of course, is Hera can just make more. He should be able to afford more upgrades, more Eagles as he drops barracks number 4.
But if Viper can afford it, his production will scale ahead of Hera's. So Hera's going to need, you know, a lot of barracks. And yeah, you said number 4. There it is. Okay.
Bad. Actually, maybe this is a good fight for Viper. Hera's taking it because he's got Eagle Warrior on the way. Yeah, it seems good enough for Hera. It's 8 Eagles for both, right? And
he got the armor
Viper's had some idle time as well. So I'd love to spin a story here where, you know, Viper's got that next play. Technically speaking, the Jags are an option for the Aztecs, but getting a castle is not going to be realistic for Viper. And I love the recognition from Hera. Like, he adds the additional barracks, and then he says, now I go eco. So not being overly greedy here, and still just matching Viper. And if you match your opponent in the middle, he's actually beating his opponent in the middle, you're always going to feel comfortable to add that economy back at home.
Oh, look at it. The H gold.
He can still do that.
I mean, that's a win for Viper if nothing else, right? Not much has gone right for him, but that's one of those things.
Yeah, he tries another quick wall as his villagers are getting slaughtered on the berries. And Viper still keeping an eye on the Eagle. He is trapped.
Deletes the wall, and Hera instantly moves it.
Of course, Hera runs away.
No.
That's funny. That's where you need to make another layer of walls and put your Eagle inside.
Hera's got the +2 armor. This is over.
What the GG's called.
Yeah, Viper calls it. Viper has lost 3 in a row. So Hera is picking up steam, and Viper kind of losing a little bit of energy, maybe. Once again, like, this is not the greatest matchup, but it's not the worst for him. And we question why he just felt the need to stay on these berries for
Yeah,
so
I think he
long.
could have pulled away. Yeah. But, the only explanation I have, and I think it's a realistic explanation, realistic, sorry, um, is that he wasn't expecting the Eagles. I think he felt comfortable to go into Skirm. Hera every other time has gone for archers. And, yeah, Hera just showed up with a lot of pressure there. Now, is it stamina for Viper right now? Is that what happened at the end of Arena? Or is this game due to maybe the Arena game living in his head a little bit, right? That was such a big moment. Like right now, the story I'm spinning is
Mm.
those bombard cannons. That shot kind of shook Viper. And now Hera needs one win of the next 3 to be the champion.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a stamina thing either because I'm looking at the EAPM. He's at 121 this game, so he's still
Well,
flying right now. But
well,
mentally,
yeah,
you can get tired for sure.
mental stamina is kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's really hard to feel drained if you lose a game you feel you should have won. But it's also a sign of the best to just kind of not let those things phase you as much, right? And Hera lost game number 1. Then game number 3, he was down. He had to really work his way back here, and now like winning 3 straight just shows his fortitude.
So
But
we have Haboob, right?
okay,
And that'll be the game that's being played right now for sure because the final 2 maps are going to be Sacred Springs and Land Madness.
yeah.
What are you picking here? Is Hera saving Chinese for Land Madness and going Magyars here? Is he saving something else? Like, what is Viper picking? Is he going Bulgarians here? Is that for Sacred Springs? Do you pick Franks here?
Let me look at it. So Chinese can be really good on Haboob. It could be really good on Land Madness. It could be really good on Sacred Springs. So basically, Chinese is going to feel like you have a massive lead at the
Ooh,
start.
interesting.
But
Okay.
I would choose Land Madness. Viper on Haboob. I guess I was thinking like Franks, but I could also see a weird world where. Go
He's
ahead.
gone Chinese. Saracens for Hera.
Ah, all right. Hera up 4-2. So I mean, what you think about here for Hera? Obviously, you try and break the guy, you try and win 5-2 here, but um, if you lose this game, you still got Chinese yourself for
Jagul,
Land Madness.
don't be fucking weird.
So Viper's
Dude.
going to have his work cut out for him later down the road because both players seem to think that is like a really strong civ.
All right.
Bengalis? That's so weird. Okay, so I'm still wondering where Viper's going to play that. Here we are. We were in game number 7 here. It's best of 9, of course. Otherwise, Hera would have already won. Hera's had an amazing streak. Saracens for him, Chinese for Viper. So Chinese starting with 12 vills because it's a 9 villager star tournament. And they have a massive lead at the start. If you don't do damage against them early, you're in trouble. So what are you cooking here if you're Hera to build up some damage here?
Kind of feel like I want to open scouts with Saracens.
Okay.
Gives me a little bit more flexibility. If I open archers and Viper like open scouts, he holds me in his base. I can't do any damage. And then he just adds skirms. So then I have to go scouts anyway.
Yeah.
I think you just want to open scouts for Hera and be as aggressively fast as possible. Get that market down to support your transition into the archer range if you're going to make it. But look at where Viper's gold is on this map. It is forward. Hera's is at the back.
Yep. And Viper will know that Hera is right on the other side of this pyramid here. It's interesting that sometimes the pyramid is in ruins. And
Sometimes
then
it's crumbling.
pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Aliens.
We need answers. Also, was someone supposed to take that inside and then they got there and they realized the door was way too small?
The moving company wasn't given the right specs, bro. And
Okay.
if you know moving companies, it wasn't on the sheet of paper, so it's not going in the house.
It makes sense. Makes sense. And then it looks like maybe the owners of the pyramid got pissed and threw some stuff around the yard here.
Maybe that's the crumbling. That's the later stages when they tried to take off the top to put the relic in.
They had to get a crane over here.
Yeah, like a heli drop or something, but that didn't work. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm glad we talked about that because now I have all my answers.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're right, though. Dream Gold and Stone situation for Hera after already having the Dream scoreline. But he doesn't have the Civ. And Viper will have 3 more villagers than Hera, basically. But Hera's going to go up quick. He hasn't transferred to gold yet. He's got a lot on food. So it feels like it could be it could definitely be a scout play. Yeah, no loom from Hera. I mean, we just haven't seen a lot of militia at all. It's not part of the meta. And so Hera just continues to delay that so he can get essentially 1 more Vil for an extra 2 minutes. And he feels it's worth the risk every time.
Viper's going to open archers here.
All right.
See what Hera opens. He's not on gold yet. He will have that market very cheap, though. So he can always get gold if he wants to. There's the barracks right there.
Yeah, I think Viper, he might take the thinking that Hera had in his game against Tato, where archers is relatively adaptable, and if his opponent is going archers, he'll just make more. Right? If his opponent's faster to the range, he'll just make a second range. But he doesn't know. And his scout is still at home, and Hera will recognize that, and Hera will know where the gold is, which Viper chose to take, by the way, instead of using the back gold. But honestly, I think if you lose the front of your base, you have bigger problems if you're Viper, so I kind of get that.
Yeah. You should be able to defend with Chinese, too. Even if you're up a little bit later, your production should be better, right? You can get into archer range, stable, upgrades, if you want fletching faster.
Yep.
A little bit sooner. There's Loom coming in for Hera, and there's the range from him. Not going for a spearman, because he literally can't afford it. There's not enough wood.
Yeah, and I really like what both players are trying to do. They're trying to use their wood line as part of the wall. Viper comes forward. We'll see Hera's range. And that might have been what he expected in the first place. He'll look for the gold now, but this game becomes now about defending where you can with the walls and sneaking like 2 archers, man. Like 2 archers sneaking around to a wood line would be huge, but players have to track that with their scouts, and they'll probably not be surprised. But faster to archers here is Hera. Like, if they're both going archers, Hera's got a slight lead, right? So Viper needs to make sure he manages this somehow. I was expecting maybe a second range. Could also opt for a tower if he's worried. But Hera just piling on it with a spearman, with a scout, and making life so awkward. Look at that, even killing the spear from Viper. And it's just, it feels like all the momentum is here for Hera right now.
Well, Viper's got the same combo now, but he tanks a hit from the spearman of Hera. And Hera diving in with the scout doesn't lose it to the TC. Spearman attacking the archer, scout attacking the archer as well. The other archer from Viper looping around, and he'll take out the scout from Hera critically. And he might take out the spearman too, so that's really, really nice from Viper in terms of a recovery there as he gets his archer out, and Hera can't really pose much of a threat with just 2 archers, even with fletching coming in. Viper goes for a second range.
Yeah, so look now at the res collected, right? Viper's got that slight lead. He slightly defended, and now Hera's got another slight little lead. This is the difference. If Hera can use this fletching upgrade to snowball a fight, Viper has problems. If Viper can hold, wait for his own upgrade, he'll have 2 range, he'll have
7
more builds,
seconds.
and Viper will be fine here.
Yep. And a skirm coming
Viper,
out too. So,
Viper's going to be fine.
He should be fine. Unless he tosses away these archers, I mean, it's going to be very, very tough for Hera to make anything happen here.
Look at Viper using
trying
the scout
to bait
as a
the
distraction.
shot. Oh my god, dude! Like a 1 HP scout, he's trying to bait a shot.
Yeah, I like patrol that on no attack stance. I just don't pay attention
I auto
to
scout that bad boy. He's exploring right now. Like he's in the corner right now.
Well, this is the step that Hera wanted to avoid, right? Like he really was hoping for a faster snowball, and now the Chinese have the economy lead and also mixing in a few skirms here.
He's
but
getting
Hera's
the armor
double
upgrade,
range
though.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double range with armor upgrade, and he's leaving to the right. This is a very interesting decision. Okay, comes back. I was going to say, if he's trying to raid with this army, that's crazy right now.
I think you might need crazy. If you, like, in theory right now, if Hera had 4 skirms, I think he could possibly defend. And then he would definitely find some damage if he got the Viper space. But Viper sees the armies over there. He now is on Hera's berries. And Viper just pushing right now, trying to get some initiative. Now, Viper will recognize that Hera has left with the other force.
Hera
and will
sold
have to
the
defend
stone.
with skirms at home right now.
Yeah, Hera sold the stone, so he can't go tower. That's a dead Vil.
Oof. Oof, it's so risky. It's so risky for Hera to have left with his army. He didn't actually go forward.
Nope. He can't
Viper's
decide, dude.
expecting that.
He can't decide what he wants to do. And now Hera's coming back thinking, okay, if I clear this army, maybe I'll have an advantage. I can snowball. Can't really push with this against a couple skirms with archers only when they have the armor. And he's on my gold. So I need to push him away. But this is excellent positioning for Viper. He's perfectly fine with this situation. He's got 2 ranges. And he's got the eco lead. He knows he has the eco lead. He even has an army at home just in case.
The only thing I'd say for Viper is you're probably going to lose your archers, so take everything you can with you. And he pretty much does. There's 1 archer remaining he would have loved to kill, but that's decent. He must be confused, though, because he's like, is that a new archer army?
I think it took him a while to figure out that that was the one that came back. If you do the math on it, that's got to be the one that came back, right? Especially the angle it came in from. So he's going to be perfectly fine. Hera always has that market available with Saracens, so maybe could make something happen. But right now, and Viper's in a really good position.
He is. Hera will have a small force of archers. This is what I wanted to see before. You defend with the skirms. You send the archers forward, but Hera will not be able... Well, it won't be easy for him to defend even with these skirms because Viper's got 4 skirms of his own and archers in this group
he needs to realize the archers aren't here, though.
That's true.
He needs to realize they're not here, and he needs to pull his army back to the vulnerable positions on the right side near the T90 farm over there.
Yep, that's a oof. Yeah, and honestly, I don't think he's just sending some army over now.
He should be fine then. He'll lose a vill.
Losing a vill or 2 could still be manageable, but it is up against Saracens, and Hera has not broken yet. Hera doesn't get the vill, and the other archers are still microing, and Viper, good micro here. Nice micro from Hera. Full skirms for both now in queue, so there won't be many archers remaining. But the archers in the group can kill vills if they get there. And yeah, nice dancing here from Viper. Nice defense from Viper. Dave, 1,000 resources collected ahead here for him.
Yeah, he needs a market.
Crazy what the Chinese could do.
Needs a market so he can use that gold and then get the timings.
Yeah, I think Viper's farming eco is decent enough. I'm still seeing a lot of villager idle time, lots of moving around that happens in messy games. But, he's just walking over there to build a market. And
with
there goes
3 vills,
Hera.
I like it. Okay. Hera trying to buy food now.
Trying to buy food. I mean, Hera still is an early castle age window here. There's no doubt about it, dude. Like, he could be in a position in early castle on this map to damage and kill Viper.
So far, the difference right now is that Hera wasn't floating a lot of res. Like, Viper was floating a lot of gold. Now he's using the market, maybe a little bit too late. I think if Doubt were in this same situation, obviously it would play out different. But he would have clicked up about a minute ago.
Yeah, maybe. But Viper did click up before Hera, which is critical. It looked like Hera had the resources. Nice shot from Hera. I really like the way he walled his woodline, so sneaks wouldn't really be possible for Viper. He'll track that. And then Viper's still just microing. It's a big skirm war here in the front of their bases.
This woodline's annoying for Hera, and he can't let these archers go free. Like, you don't want to have your opponent with 8 archers they can upgrade immediately. There's 5 of them over on this side, so he's going to have to deal with that. But that means he's still outnumbered on the other side. And Viper has that hill position right on his berries. So Hera has to respect the positioning from Viper. But he is trying to clear up that army, and he's chased away on the wood line.
Yeah, nice job from Viper just to get away with 2 archers. But the main focus is all about this hill. And listen, it's a skirm war right now, right? Viper recognizes that. He's already got a stable. He's going to mix in some scouts here. And I would also like knights, but maybe even siege. If you're not taking care of the ranged unit numbers, you might need siege here because Hera could switch right back into crossbow. Especially on this map, dude. Siege workshop next to the little pyramid in the middle. It's so difficult for the opponent to ever advance forward then.
Armor just clicks. The scout is here, and suddenly Hera's in trouble. Big trouble as Viper pushes him back, and Viper's going to get to Castle Age at the same time. Hera will need to buy himself 200 stone for a tower. It's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling when you're still a minute away from Castle Age. You wanted that stone for a TC, not a tower, but he knows what he needs to do to keep himself in it. And that tower is necessary. So at the end of the day, a good decision from Hera, as ugly as it might be. And Hera has a little counter force that might spot the university. I don't know if it can kill anything.
I mean, this Hera guy is just, even if he's behind, even in a matchup that I think is just horrible. I really think
Mhm.
Chinese and any land map should win every time at this level.
Mhm.
He's making it competitive. He's making it competitive, and he's giving himself a shot. It's still not good. It's still not good. Viper's going to have ballistics before him. Viper has solid skirm mass in front of his base. Hera's got tons of idle time. But maybe if Viper misplays, if he oversteps, maybe against some siege possibly, which Hera hasn't added yet, could see a world where maybe Hera has a chance.
Really love this scout. Just kind of leading the way, getting
Mm-hmm.
information, distracting the tower fire. The villagers from Hera
Yeah,
still
and
inside that tower, and the skirmishers with ballistics are going to feast here.
yeah,
Hera's not
Viper's being a
careful.
real pain here. He's like, I know you need the gold. Now, the tower for Hera is still going to do some damage here, but yeah.
It's
ballistics
just
is
shooting
in
the
for
scout,
Viper.
dude. It hasn't done anything. It's just trying to shoot the scout. Viper finally loses that. He was distracting him for so long. The archers are in on the wood line for Viper, by the way, and he hasn't noticed it. 2 villagers dead.
Nice shot from Hera. I mean, that's some value right there. Bill count's still even.
His own
There's
archers.
also an archer and a knight surrounding Hera's wood line.
Oh, don't cut there. Cut somewhere else. Skirms still against skirms at the back. Hera, though, with the advantage in the skirm numbers, and he's adding in his own stable. Man, you talked about it before. Like, he gives himself, even if he's made mistakes or things haven't gone well for him in a game, he gives himself the best chance from his current position to survive and win.
And basically, like, Viper has not used the ballistics advantage at all. He stayed close to Hera. He has not used the range, and Hera just dove deep with greater numbers. But I think Viper is probably shifting his focus more towards the other side now. And, like, Hera's about to lose his wood line if he's not careful here. So Hera needs to react.
Hera like
is in a really tough spot to, to counterattack it all right now against Viper.
I like the siege choice from Viper. I think you go siege first and then town centers later.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't even know if a second TC makes a ton of sense on this map unless it's to control, like, a vulnerable area. Like, it's a protection TC. Just so much army is going to win you this game. There's villagers everywhere. And siege is now that next step. So Viper has ballistics over Hera. He has armor on his skirms over Hera. He's got knights in the mix over Hera. And then he's going to have siege. I mean, Hera should...
Beautiful micro from both.
Even he should struggle here.
Yeah, beautiful micro from both of these guys. Viper with ballistics, Hera no ballistics.
And the knights for Viper getting picked off by some of Hera's camels. But Hera now sees the siege workshop. And he's probably like, man, like, I keep defending. I keep holding. But, like, when is he going to stop? Like, this Viper guy just keeps coming. And they will both add TCs. Hera on the left. And Viper in the north now.
Yeah, Mangonel is going to be an issue. Hera's farming eco is kind of patchy now, but he always has that market to fall back to. And he's really fallen back to that market for his standards this game.
I wonder if it makes sense for Hera to add Siege here. I mean, Siege feels like the natural thing to change the situation. His Siege micro was really good in game 1 on Migration. And also on Arena. And, like, at the moment, it feels like he's just going to be outskirmed because Viper having ballistics. I'd like to see him buy some wood, drop a siege workshop, like, hope for a shot. Everything Viper's sending at you except the knights can be countered by siege, depending on micro.
Well, it's kind of fascinating to me that the camels never dove for the Mangonel, and now Hera's like, okay, I have an army that can deal with a Mangonel. Let's send the skirms. Kind of baits Viper out of position. He goes for a siege workshop of his own, and Viper actually pulled his Mangonel at the front back because he has no defense against the camels.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky for Viper. He's gone too far now, so he can't actually meet up his new forces.
Yep, and his crossbow now from him.
This army is still doing a lot of damage, and he's still pushing Hera's ranges. Like, Hera's production is still being stifled, and Viper will know right now that Hera's just adding siege.
Oh, almost got him with a shot. Camels coming in. Viper can shoot one more time. Doesn't make a difference. His skirmishers will die, but he's going to try and snipe some camels along the way. Might be able to get another one here. Depends on the minimum range.
If Hera doesn't have ballistics, I think that Viper could actually still win this fight, right? The camels are getting some kills, but they're low-ish HP. Well, yeah, Viper's working his way. to the corner, microing
yeah,
away, and then on
he's
the
killing
front.
all the camels. It's so annoying if you're Hera, right? Losing camels to skirms, it doesn't feel natural. And now your rangers are going down, so there's no skirm reinforcements. Viper has to make sure he doesn't lose the Mangonel battle, so Hera's coming out, and he gets one. Viper not paying attention. Hera gets a second. Oh, maybe that's the way back in.
He's dancing elsewhere. Like, he's dancing elsewhere in a situation where he does have ballistics, and then he looks back and his siege is gone. And it's just like, Hera finds a way, dude. Like, Hera finds a way. He's still in this. I think he's still behind. I think Viper's got the better economy. I think he may even have the better civ long term. But the army count and what it can be managed with it, arguably better for Hera right now. He has camels that'll have +2 armor.
Yeah.
He has more siege than Viper, and he's going to have 16 skirmishers.
I think a defensive castle on that hill to the left of Viper's main TC will lock his base down to the point where it's going to be really tough for Hera to push that. So Viper just needs to keep him contained until he has enough stone for it. There is potential for a forward castle or one in the middle, but I'm not sure that's the smartest play.
Not right now. I think the forward castle is great when you have control. Right now, there's a whole lot of darkness, and you never know when Hera's going to pop out of the darkness with siege again.
Viper did save those skirms from behind, though.
Yeah.
That's sick, actually.
So, camels, huh? It's interesting. Like, camels against crossbows, not so good. But I guess if you have siege and you have skirms to deal with the crossbows, could be pretty strong. Saracen camels, man. 125 HP. That's with no bloodlines right now.
Viper's just trying to crop shot Hera. He almost got him there. 2 separate times. 2 different farms.
Delete your farms in Mangonel Wars, guys. People will shoot those farms. Get a little bit of extra range.
Can you go for a forward castle now that you have this control? You know where the army is? There's camels at home. There's camels at home. Never mind.
Well, I don't know if camel counterattack's that worrying. Ask me in a second, Dave, because there's some big fights going on. I think if Viper continues to get shots like this, then the answer is going to be yes, to stay alive, and he's sending the Vills, Dave. I could see the movement. The camel could report back, actually, that the Vills are coming. Hera might notice. 1-for-1 trade there.
For one, not great
Here
for
comes
Hera.
Viper. And,
Oof.
I mean, does Hera buy his own castle? Is that what you do? If you know that's coming, can you buy your own castle real quick and just drop it?
It's risky. Another Mangonel in the queue from Viper. It's a little bit late, though. It's at, 12% now? Hera wins that Mangonel 1v1, but he's very out of position. Now the castle comes in from Viper. Hera's buying wood. He's not buying stone. He can definitely buy himself one, and Viper needs to be very, very careful not to lose this whole army to a couple shots while he's busy over there.
Viper. Nice shot. Like, I feel like this attack on the right was actually designed to threaten Hera enough so this castle goes up. And think of the upgrades, right? They have ballistics. They have the range. Like, this is so difficult for Hera. He can't defend a siege push easily. He can't produce out of this archery range. His TC is going to get shot down. And they really haven't, with the exception of the camels, that even though Hera's defended well and he's made it tough to be broken, he hasn't really applied a killer blow against Viper at all, who's got 3 relics and 3 TCs.
It's still insane, the eco that Hera has right now, and the fact that he will probably go up to Imp soon first.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And, like, think about it this way. Previous game, I'd say Mayan's comfort pick for Hera, comfort map, civ advantage, right? Hera smashed. Now, you've got Chinese who I think are, the #1 civ. And this has become very tough for Viper. Like, Hera's actually giving himself shots. So it's impressive. Now, I'm wondering which TC Hera chooses to go Imp with. Because there's another castle now coming from Viper on the other side. I think it's
the one at the very back there, yeah. Should be it. He's chosen that one.
Yeah.
Viper, with that castle over there. Hera, I was nervous about a castle over there because of the potential for a counter castle, but Hera actually puts it safer in his own eco. And he's going to do a slow pushback. One thing Viper's doing that I love is the outposts on the right side. And he's got all the units on the left, too. And now Light Cav is in. So he has some opportunities to pick away. But, I mean, he will be slower to the Imperial H. And he's going to take a big shot!
Oh, my God! He's got a chance. Hera's got a chance. Half of Viper's army has just disappeared before us here. Hera has a chance. Viper completely overextends, so uncharacteristic of him
Oh,
to
no.
run into a shot there. And now, I mean, if Hera could make Trebs and Hera has solid army count against Viper, I'm not seeing it be all that difficult compared to what Hera's typically able to achieve.
It's still a good
amount of
situation for Viper. He's still 20 vills ahead. He's going up to Imp. He's been killing a lot on the right side. And we look at Hera's resources. Like, he's got the 3 tiles of gold there and this Harrison market. And that's about it. Oh, he's got another 4 tile at the back. Nice. Yeah, never mind. And
So,
he can cook something
let's
up.
see. Let's think about this. Viper's food eco is great, right? Hera has a very small army. Viper will likely give up one, if not both of his castles. And that is going to give him a lot of time right now. He'll have the relics. He also has a very close eye on what Hera is making, which for the time being is like pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really know, but he is punishing Hera for the fact that Hera has nothing and is still trying to get some snipes.
Honestly, I really like the light cap play because Hera doesn't have the eco to mass camels right now, and you're gonna need to go camels to counter you, and it kind of forces him away from getting that death ball of Arbalest because he's gonna have to buy food to get more camels. So
and he's made
2 stables
very
forward
messy
from Viper. Yeah,
but Viper's making it very messy with this. Now he did make it a little bit messy for himself, right? He's gonna be on the other end of a really big highlight. But the reality is, he's just everywhere right now. And he's only a minute off the pace of Imp. He also has more access to golds. He has more access to stone. And he's building a stable in the south. So yeah, his plan is just keep Hera where he is. And he understands, even if Hera takes the left side or even the middle back, there's just not a lot of gold there. So Hera will run dry soon.
beautiful game from both. I can't believe Hera is in the position he's in. I've said that so many times. And I still can't believe it as he loses more villagers to that castle. But he's got a castle on the left, so he should be able to start trebbing down Viper soon. The light cav are still an issue with +2 armor. The light cav are a big issue because, like I said, Hera doesn't want to have to go into camels to chase these things around. He wants to be pushing Viper right now, and it's really, really tough for him to do so.
There's some things Viper's doing right now, which might not seem like a lot, but they're really smart. The conscription in that castle, he's just hoping he can get that. He's not even trying to go for Trebs. So many people would try and commit to the Trebor to keep the opponent in. He says, nope, not realistic for me. He's also taking the forward golds that he might lose control of soon, just getting as much as he can.
Has he done the math on conscription? Oh, this is going to be close. I don't think he did the math. I think it fails.
No, 98%.
Yep.
Hera's blacksmith is actually really important there. And usually players are not used to losing their blacksmiths. But it looks like it will stay up for now. And Viper is going to try and hold with Trebs in the north now. So Hera's got 2 castles, man. I mean, he's the Saracens as well. If he runs out of resources, he could sell.
Yeah, but he's been selling the whole game, dude. Like, he's been selling and buying the whole time. See, he's buying food for 150 right now.
But then when he sells food, just imagine what he's going to get.
I don't want to get on that, teeter-totter. Come in.
I am a little surprised that Viper is trying to hold this position.
He's trying to push in 3 different spots, bro.
Right over.
He's got a light cav in the south. Hera's dealing with that. Light cav coming through the front. He's completely surrounded him. And he's still got 1,500 gold in the bank in classic Viper fashion. And now capped Rams coming out.
Siege Ram would be huge. Yeah, Viper just realizes I can take inefficient fights, not that he is, and I'm fine here. He needs the Arbalest upgrade. And he needs to just mass as many traps here as possible.
From Hera. Just keep constricting one step at a time. And Hera realizes that. So he's moving away from that side with his main army. But Viper's like, okay, I'll just come snipe it with crossbows and light cap.
And Hera hops out with another Treb as well. I don't know if Viper will get that one. But Hera still hasn't dealt with this singular Treb. Viper can't make more, by the way. He doesn't have a castle. Hera still can't deal with
this. This is Viper's win. Hera, like, you just cannot win against Viper from this position. I don't care.
He's a 200 pop.
Who you are, like, the way Viper has set up on both sides, it's going to be so tough. Hera has spent so much time going back and forth with this ball of crossbows. And every single time he looks away from one side, Viper's crushing the other. So GG called. Viper takes a win again, 4-3.
4-3. And you got to take it one game at a time. Viper's done that here. I like it. How maybe he needed a bit of confidence. He goes for Chinese here. Maybe he feels like he's got, better civilizations for future maps. For Hera, an amazing fight, an amazing hold. And the positive for Hera is you've got 2 more chances, but then you also have Chinese yourself. I think Hera played phenomenally here, but it did always feel like that Viper had that slight eco lead. Hera with the Chinese will be extremely dangerous. I wonder when Hera's going to choose to do it. Does he just do it now? Or does he save it for potential game number 9?
Yep. Dude, if Viper had won that arena game,
we're looking at a
completely different. That like
completely
one game
series.
just swings. Yeah, right?
Yep.
And like I kind of had it in my mind when he got nuked by that big shot, even though he was in a good position here, like still really, really favorable. When he got nuked by the Mangonel, I was thinking back to the Bombard cannon on Arena, bro.
Yeah, it really well, and I thought maybe the Arabia game was kind of the Arena game wasn't out of his head at that point too, right? Now, this will be a non-issue if Viper breaks the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hera's got oh, actually, he doesn't get to choose the map at this point as we go into game number 8. God, imagine playing 8 games at this level. It's insane. It's going to be Sacred Springs. I would say Hera will probably save the Chinese for Lands Madness. I think Land Madness is a bit better for the Chinese. And Hera has the Teutons. He's got the Magyars as options, which could maybe be good there. Could be wrong, though. Like, Sacred Springs, you're sending all your villagers to the Shorefish where they're exposed, right?
Yeah.
And I think you don't want to do that with your villager advantage if you're the Chinese. I think it's, like, super risky. So I'm actually 100% certain that Hera will not play Chinese on Sacred Springs. I think that'd be too risky, especially if Viper's got Bulgarians out there. Bulgarians with some, like, fast man-at-arms and tower play could maybe be Viper's plan and would just be putting too much pressure on yourself, I'm guessing. Looks like they're actually in the game.
I mean, you could go, like, if you're Viper and you pick Bulgarians, you could go, like, 2 militia into automatic upgrade on your men-at-arms, right? Which gives you a little bit of pressure. You don't have to go into all 3. Mm-hmm. And then you just make scouts behind that because you got the fish.
I agree.
I got the bug. I got to restart.
Okay. We have a minute and 15 seconds, so you have plenty of time.
All right.
But yeah, to viewers out there, hope you've enjoyed, man. I mean, this has been a great final, right? The games have been so high level. Consistency so far, at least for me, has been the theme. Viper will go Bulgarians here. A Civ that I think could be really solid when up against the Magyars. Neither of these Civs get eco upgrades, which is very rare, right? Like, typically, we're talking economy bonuses or ways to get resources, but yeah, that's just not going to be the situation here. Here it will be all about attack.
We haven't seen Bulgarians in this tournament. I haven't seen Bulgarians played in a tournament game in so long.
In years.
Yeah.
In years, dude. Actually, the only time I've seen Bulgarians played in the last year or two was in the tournament where you had to give your opponent civilizations. There, Bulgarians was seen quite a bit.
Dude, imagine us talking about all these like men-at-arms scout stuff. Imagine Viper just pulls it out and goes like FC Cav Archers with Bulgarians.
I mean, Dowd is a big Krepos guy, right?
Yeah.
Krepos dropping can be no joke, so... But Viper knows he can't get away with the fast castle shenanigans here against Hera. Hera will just punish him. And this map, you just have to fight. So here we are, game number 8. Will we see a game number 9, folks? That Chinese pick, that number 1 civilization that Hera also picked, is looming if we get there. Viper trying to come back in this one. And we've got Hera as the Magyars. We've got Viper as the Bulgarians. This map has been the least played map in the entire tournament, which is actually why it is game number 8. That's the way the admins and organizers set it up. And I kind of like that, as Viper is going to walk over and collect the boar here. He will come back over here for the box turtles. That is 3,600 food, and there's 4 different areas like this. Usually, it's just tons of military, funded by the box turtles, and full feudal here.
Yep. Hera taking a couple of hits from the board, but he's going to block it. And he's fine. Magyars are the consensus pick here, I would assume, for most players. It is kind of unfortunate that Viper is so far away from the two hills. I guess Hera's the same distance, but they seem to be shifted a little more to Hera's side. But Viper does have the back gold there, which is very nice. Sure. Although most of the focus will be around the shorefish at the beginning.
So, I mean, villagers, it's such a weird thing, but villagers on shorefish, or in this case, the shorefish equivalent, the turtle, is much faster than other forms of food income. It's one of the fastest in the game. And so farming is not really something we're going to see a ton of here. And, you know, Hera is one who loves his farms, even if there's other sources of food income. But in this case, I don't even think he will place many safe farms. I think usually we're just going to see vills, maybe even towers here. And
early barracks
Magyars I like a lot.
Instead of the mill.
Ooh.
I think he...
Well, this is what you said.
Yeah, Viper is like expecting Hera to go up with it without Loom. Or taking the chance that he might, and he's going to try and punish him. Loom is coming in now because the villager is being attacked.
Yeah.
Viper won't be able to get her, but he knows she's weak, and he knows Hera's over there, and he might go for, like, click up, 2 militia, insta upgrade the men-at-arms, and then follow up with spears and scouts. Could be a play.
Dude, I think you just have to expect that here, if you're Hera. Like, that is the biggest threat Bulgarians pose to you. Yes, Bulgarians... They do have the cheaper and faster researching blacksmith upgrades, which can help in a full feudal scenario, but I think you have to expect it. I think you have to look for it. Right now, he's looking at Viper's base. He didn't actually scout the other Sacred Spring. Like, he seems to have just gotten a bit fortunate here to correctly scout the side that Viper's on.
I mean,
but
he
he
didn't
also
see the
sees the
barracks.
mill time.
Yeah.
Yes, but the mill time tells him everything.
Well, unless Viper's also on the other spring area. And he's just diversifying, right? You don't know
that's fair.
If you're Hera.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the mill is delayed for Viper, but it could be mill number 2, and he is going to try mill number 2 on the other side right now. So,
and that's 2 militia that will instantly, 3 militia, so the third one on the way, instantly become men-at-arms. There's a number of things Viper could do here. He could go for that stable follow-up immediately. He could add in maybe some spearmen because he expects Hera to go into scouts to counter it, which would make it very dangerous. Or he could go for a tower, and Hera spots the 1 militia. Is he going to spot these 2 coming in? The scout is also there. The 1 villager is weak, and Hera just pulls away. Viper's going to be in feudal age in 15 seconds. This could be really bad for Hera.
Yeah, good job so far for Hera to fight it off, but once Man-at-Arms is in, Vipers just shouldn't mess around here, Dave. You just got to take the fight. Against Man-at-Arms with 2 weak builds,
boy.
This could be devastating. Hera didn't know this was coming, Dave.
He needs to get a scout in front to block. He needs to get a scout in front to block, but the Men-at-Arms are kind of pathing behind it. Still, Hera is off food. That's critical. Like, he needs this food coming in for his scouts, and there goes one of the Men-at-Arms. Hera makes a spearman. He will lose a villager here, though, and Viper saves that scout.
That's amazing. And Viper was never planning on anything more than that. Simply killing 1. Ooh, almost 2 bills. Nice block from Hera. And taking him off of food? I mean, that's huge. Like, Hera, he's not even going to be able to produce that many scouts. And Viper, if he wishes to, could probably just go scouts as well.
Yeah, but he spent his wood on another mill and the wood upgrade. He did not add a stable. So now it's Hera's turn to hit him because Viper lost the Men-at-Arms. I think a stable was necessary other than that second mill. Like, you got to get the pressure rolling right away.
Hera's 1 scout is weak.
It's a blacksmith.
It's
just going spears.
And 1 scout's very weak, and the other scout's full HP. I don't see how Hera, with his very predictable strategy in scouts, right, can do a lot of damage, and this is maybe what Viper wanted. Is he just going to stay on spears?
Yeah, Viper is going spears, and he's going to get the upgrades in from the blacksmith, which are cheaper and faster for Burgundians. So he's going to go forging spearmen. Bro, this is like watching my controller player account play Empire Wars. Like, nothing but spears, dude. It's stupid.
So I like it, right? I like the spears. I would still prefer Viper just make scouts. He's got crazy food income. Like, this is Viper we're talking about. If he has 4 or 5 scouts on the field, able to threaten Hera, he could be in a great spot. If Hera notices straight spear defense, maybe then there's a chance for Hera with an archery range. So,
He's
but
got to add one soon.
it's been the perfect start. Like, if we want a game 9 here,
Yep.
we're in a great position for it. And Viper will add the stable too. Yeah, Hera is, he's just behind. There's no other ways about it. That opening from Viper with Bulgarians, which has never been played before in this tournament, was just perfect.
Let's see where he goes from here. He adds the stable. He's going to add the scouts. And these spearmen are going to be really difficult for Hera to deal with the armor. There's a lot of them for sure. He gets armor himself. I never thought we'd find ourselves here. Spearman versus spear. But
we had camel v camel. We
Yep.
now get spearman v spearman.
Does anyone add a range is the question, right? Because
Well,
Viper's adding the stable.
It felt natural for Hera to try it.
Yeah.
But I think Hera is feeling some pressure. Like, he needs more food right now. And so that's pretty good news for Viper. Now, who knows if Viper scouts are really going to accomplish anything now that he's made them.
Good raid from Hera, but the tower comes up just on time. Jeez.
Yeah. It's just 3 scouts, right? Like, this is not the scout number you're normally thinking about. Fully upgraded spearman versus fully upgraded spearman. I wonder if Viper
makes some men at arms.
Recognize. Yeah, like maybe Viper didn't recognize Hera got armor as well. He was thinking his spearman would be stronger.
I think Viper's going to make some men at arms until he sees that range from Hera.
He's going to gold, so you do need gold for that.
You have the infantry upgrades already. Viper will lose a villager over here, so Hera evens it out. And Viper coming forward with scouts after he pulled the spearman away, but there's not much to hit here. Hera's done a good job producing spearmen of his own and keeping himself safe over there.
Hera is wide open on the other spring. Wide open, but Viper is not over there. Could head over there. Hera's spears are all coming in defense.
Oh, weak fills on the farms too for Hera. He's got to be careful there. Oh, boy.
I think Hera might send these new scouts over to help his villagers out on that spring. His Viper's scouts just went into the darkness.
Snow spears. Forging is in.
Yeah, he's sending his scouts to check, and he sees it. Some of the scouts are weak. Hera will be fine. And yet again, Viper with a nice start. Hera holding on here, Dave, just like the previous game.
Yeah, both players going to be housed at 50 pop. So a lot in common. 11 spears for Hera, 12 spears for Viper. Both have all the infantry upgrades.
Wheelbarrow now for Viper because he was housed, I imagine. It is an upgrade that really helps when you're farming a lot. Hera's farmed a lot more than Viper has here, which will eventually matter. I think the amount of villagers on Shorefish are key, but it will eventually matter to have that food eco. And I'm just looking at this again. Viper's going to have the spear advantage. But if Hera could get to Castle Age, he actually gets the extra attack.
Was
right
the
away.
gold is the gold for like bloodlines or something? I mean, or is he just making his way slowly up to Castle? I think if he had added like 2 men at arms, he would be able to push this side.
Yeah.
Force a lot of uncomfortable decisions from Hera.
There's also like 3 spearmen in Hera's army that are a sneeze away from death. Like they are very weak.
Scouts in the north. Viper managed to juke the scouts from Hera. He's going to be looking for villager kills. Hera was trying to go for a tower there.
Should be some dead vills. Hera doing the right thing to fight it off, though, so at least some could survive.
Yep.
And
Viper gets another one.
She got a little bit more fish before she died, but that's 2 more villagers dead there. Finally, Viper finds a bit more of a payoff.
Spear armies are so stupid, dude.
It looks so funny, dude.
It
looks
like they're just like they just kiss each other and then they back away with them. They never fight. Viper's
one
going
archer.
Up. Hera's already
up. Difference in that fight. Yeah.
Crazy.
Both players up.
Viper can make Krepos, which is good. Add some men at arms here, and they insta upgrade the longswords, and you can push this back easy.
I don't know, dude. I think like we've seen so many instances of even if one player has like more spears or more infantry, it's just so slow that the high level players will quick wall it out and move away from it. Heavy spear opens up the opportunity for archers. And Hera has faster massing cav archers with the Magyars. He's dropping a range. I like this position for Hera. I really do.
Burgundians also have good cav archers. Can't forget about that. Not as good as Magyars, but they are still fairly good if Viper wants to go for that approach.
No scout pressure for Viper possible at this point, right? Because he lost most of his scouts. Never really had that many scouts in the first place. Viper needs to bring some of these spears protecting these 4 vills and share with the rest of the economy here. This is... He's got spears all over the map, or at least he's got 20 spears, but to lose villagers here when he has spears on the map is wild to me. These scouts are here and still the spears.
Do I keep saying Burgundians? Am I high?
You did one time. I didn't want to point it out.
Okay.
I think you just did again, so I'm going to point it out. Yeah.
Okay. Bulgarians then. I'm still locked in on that
arena game.
Yeah.
The bombard cannons. Yeah, I actually did the same thing yesterday. I think we're just not used to seeing the Bulgarians.
No, it's just chat just doesn't leave me alone. That's
yeah.
Now it's in my head. All right, stable for Viper. Second stable. It's about to be up.
So let's see. Viper's left side still 2,000 food. I mean, that's crazy. But it is riskier than farms. That's crazy to me. Viper's got so many bikes over there. My goodness. Like, his wood eco could be a real problem if he overchops. There's the scouts from Hera still moving around. So consistent as always. Viper getting the attack upgrades. Getting pikemen. Hera can't take easy engagements now. The upgrades are fast, but they're also cheaper for Viper. So he should be able to max out on whatever upgrades he wants here soon.
I mean, the fish are still there for Hera. Like, there's still plenty of resources to take there, but he's just not... He's not interested, man. Massing up a few cav archers. Viper's still with the 19 pikemen, which is crazy. Like, man, at this point, just add in some rams and have a little ram party with your pikemen pushing forward. Might be the play.
Go to stone.
Yeah.
Drop a Krepos. Like, bring Vills forward. But I think for the first time this game, Viper sees what Hera's plan is.
Oh, I don't know about this. Why are we throwing away all our pikemen? This was our defense on this side. And they're all being thrown away. The knight is coming in. It might be converted, but at the same time, Viper is picking off villagers in the north. So maybe it's hoping to distract Hera a little bit. The knight does get converted. And Viper's going to need to do something to protect himself here in the south, because Hera will be coming back with a vengeance.
This is where you need some pikes at home, Dave. Like, that's 20 pikes thrown away. He's always going to lose that. Now, maybe he can, maybe if he thinks he runs, Hera will just snipe it anyways. But he didn't make Hera work for that there. And now these Vills are super exposed. He wants to drop a TC. Like, oh, man. It feels like such a good position for Hera right now after Viper's 20 pikes just got tossed away.
TC on this stone there from Viper.
Wood is an issue. Look at Viper's wood line. This is a disaster area. And the second TC doesn't exactly solve that either. So I was thinking maybe a TC. Maybe Viper's TC on stone is so he can mine stone for Krepos dropping later on. But
maybe.
Credit to Hera for staying in another one. It was a fast opening from Viper. And if you don't kill Hera off, his consistency. And now the Magyar Cav Archer's just looking really strong.
Yeah, Viper does have the tower there, but they're not really going to care. And only 5 villagers can garrison in that. So Viper will lose Vills here. And the pikemen won't be able to do much. Might be able to save this guy. Might be able to save those 4. No, he's walking somewhere. We don't know where. He's moving.
Villagers just casually getting stuck on the air is what we get used to here with DE these days. 46 Vills for Viper. He has a Vill lead. Hera will have seen that TC on stone. I don't know if Hera can defend if the Vills go like right now. If Viper could send 10 Vills to the north of Hera's base near that TC and drop a Krepos, things get real interesting.
Does he need to is the question, right? Does he feel like he needs to?
Yeah, I mean,
because he's had more villagers collecting fish for a very long time, and he killed Vills early.
I will tell you what really hurts: the fact that he went for +2 attack instead of +2 armor, because he can't actually afford the armor right now. So the knights actually don't offer all that much compared to what they typically would. Now, he went for the attack because he wanted the pikemen to get the attack. But, you know, they just had extra attack when they died, basically.
Yeah, what did they do with it? Nothing. Viper has enough stone for a Krepos. Soon, maybe. Yep, there it is. Top fish.
Interesting. Well, let's see. There's still...
He feels like he's ahead, dude. He feels like he's ahead, and economically
he's gonna greed it out.
Yeah, there's a 4th TC too, and he's going to have that Krepos to protect that top area. So if he can keep himself safe, then it's fine. But, I mean, Hera
Well,
is going to be knocking at the door with these scouts, with the cav archers, with a lot of things.
if Viper randomly sending a villager there. You know what I'm kind of waiting for? I'm waiting for Hera to force the issue with the cav archers.
It's not happening.
Like, they haven't moved forward. The monks haven't worked with Hera. Now he's getting relics. But here he goes. And Viper's going to take the fight. And Viper is going to lose 2 knights to the conversions. And he's going to kill the monks. But now Viper needs something more to defend. Hera needs the cav archers. But this side's not going to work easily for Hera because of the Krepos.
Yep.
I like the Krepos because it makes Hera think, okay, maybe I need to only fight on the other side.
Monastery there for Viper. 57 villas for him. 54 for Hera. It's 4 TCs against 3. And Hera can't really push at the top side there. He can't really push into these TCs at the moment.
It's super awkward.
So he's going to have to get himself set up for the long game because Viper's already planning on that, and Hera needs to modify a little bit his plan.
The TCs are cheap. Well, at least when it comes to stone. So, and the Krepos are only 350 stone. Viper might be able to actually have a 5 TC, couple Krepos defense play.
Yep.
Where Hera just can't damage him now. Like, I've been waiting for it, but Hera just doesn't know where to go. And is kind of just left focusing on his own eco back at home.
Yeah, I think this might just end up in a late game where we're looking at Stirrups Hussar with a better eco. Maybe from Viper or maybe the Conic choice, potentially. And he just kind of overwhelms Hera. But, I mean, Hera still has Magyars, which on a land map, and we're talking about late game, can be so devastating, right? If he gets his eco set up, it's just whether he gets it there in time. Still a good food economy for him. Lots of gold in the bank. Could click up to Imp first.
Hera's going to have 5 relics. His farming eco is insane. He's got 31 farms. Viper, last I checked, is 22. And Viper is spending food on knights and conics. Hera's not spending any food on his army. Hera's going to be up. Hera's going to be an Imp much faster than the Viper here.
With 4 relics, too, so.
Yep.
Pretty good.
But if Viper, there's only 14 cav archers. So if Viper chooses to stay in castle, gets that armor we want to see, and is able to produce conics and knights, Hera could be devastated if he's not ready.
And that armor comes in super quick. With Bulgarians, guys.
Yeah, Bulgarians.
Bulgarians? Bulgundians?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hera's going to show up. See a Siege Workshop. Yet another reason to think that he can't do a lot of damage here, but still looking for it. And Viper saw those CA. Maybe wants to trap those CA. But still not pressuring Hera. And Hera didn't have Bodkin this whole time.
Yeah, okay, so that tells me that he wasn't really interested in pressuring anyway. That's the reason he wasn't being so aggressive with them. Trying to add to his eco.
Normally, that's something where he's like going to get armor and realizes, oh crap, I thought I had Bodkin. But maybe that was a calculated decision there for Hera. Maybe it was. I don't know. Certainly good to realize that.
Viper's got a lot of stone if he wants to secure his base. And he's actually sending a ton of villagers in the south because he knows the army is in the north from Hera. So he's going to distract the army in the north, and he sends the villas in the south. Is this going to be a castle forward there? Like, is that a good idea? Especially with the imp timing from Hera?
Well, he knows Hera's army's here. He doesn't know Hera's up. He might suspect it, but Viper is going to try a Krepos and a fight on the right, or north.
I mean, Hera still doesn't have a castle.
Elsewhere?
So even if he gets this up, there's no way for Hera to take it down immediately to Imperial Age. He doesn't have a castle.
Does it go up? Does it go up for the Viper? There's a lot of cav archers here. He has the siege. It feels like the Krepos goes up. There's a lot of golds here. Hera splitting. He won't want these engagements before him. It's a risky time to take engagements. Hera getting conversions. Viper's Krepos still in danger. He quickly walls it, but now Hera is in the Imperial Age. And Viper's army hasn't really done too much.
There is a Krepos push in the south, though. He's going for a second one here.
Ooh, dude, this gets fun. Yep. Hera's going to have a rough time because Hera won't be able to stop the next one, right? This is like a tower rush, only a castle age version.
And he has no castle, so he has no ability to make trebs. So he can't push them back.
Viper needs Imp now. If Viper clicks up to Imp soon, you could see a world where he could suddenly do this. But he could stay in Castle Age and keep producing conics. I just feel like the Cav Archers should be melting everything that Viper has right now.
Viper doing a good job, though. He's doing a good job. He's taking out some Cav Archer numbers. The dismounted Conics coming in clutch. And the Krepos is somewhat protecting his siege, and he's killing a lot of numbers here as Hera goes for that first castle. Downhill of that, Viper goes for another Krepos over there. He's trying to buy himself time, and he's making Conics and Castle Age. You said he needed to go up. I kind of share the same opinion, but maybe there's a window where he can get a lot of damage here in late castle. I don't know.
Well,
the food eco just seems lacking for Viper at the moment.
Well, yeah, and that's why Viper, I think, thought waiting for Imp means I have no army and I do nothing for 3 minutes. I will die if I do that. So, you know, I think for the time being, he's kind of in like cruise control, adapt mode, make it scrappy. You don't often see Viper in this position, but it's what he has to try. Conics are stronger than Knights, so he's got to hope for the best there. But like, we're about to see some real panic because he can't build a Krepost everywhere.
He goes for a TC in the south. Yeah,
are on the way. Yeah.
Okay, Hera has to keep these. I think Conics are actually decent for diving in and sniping the Trebs, because even if the mounted one goes down against the pikeman, you still have the dismounted guy as a hero, right?
He's determined, man. Yeah, true. Viper does have TCs everywhere. I mean, if Hera gets attacked and just clicks an army into a TC by mistake, could be a problem. Here, he's just left his units on stand ground as he looks at his base, and he's trying to get some traps in. Kind of does get some traps in. He's losing lots of vills, though. But Viper won't take these Trebs. These Trebs will take out his Krepos here. And Hera's Cav Archers are still in Viper's base.
He did kill a lot, though.
No imp.
Yeah, he did kill quite a few of those Cav Archers while Hera was trying to trap and whatnot. But the Trebs are taking out the Krepos. Another Krepos in the center there, killing Hera's wood line. Both of them starting to lose track a little bit of what's going on in this game, and still no horse collar for Viper on these farms, so that's gotta hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot.
And he still just doesn't have an answer to the CA, Dave. Like you see right there, he tried to play some farms. He's got to get some army over here. Hera's Trebs will just take out the Krepos. It's not that big a deal. He's still got gold. He's still got wood. Hera will make a castle on the other side now, and considering Viper hasn't even clicked up yet, it feels like Hera, he's had easier moments in this series to close out a game. Let's just put it that way. Like, he is in a really good position to win the finals right here.
Yeah, this is super solid. This is where you want to be with Magyars going into Cav Archers. Your opponent's still in Castle Age. Good gate wall there from Viper. Can he garrison the TC and take these out? He goes for another gate. Oh, that's actually huge. That's actually huge. The Cav Archers are dying. That's one headache gone. Many more to come. As Hera is going to push forward with the Trebs.
He isn't clicked up, right? And Hera's Trebs are still taking out Krepos. What would be really nice for Viper is if he could get a castle and he could research stirrups. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Stirrups, yes. Yep. If he can get a castle, which I don't think he can afford now, and get stirrups, his cav would attack 25% faster, which could be really strong.
He's getting squires instead. For the Conics. Dismounted Conics. Let's go, dude. Let's go. It's huge. No, he's making pikemen.
Their Viper has a sneak stable on the left side. And so maybe he'll start to raid from there.
These walls from Hera, bro. What?
Hera with the gates. Jagated. But Dave, the Conics have no business being around any Cav Archers right now. Even these Conics. Don't tell me Viper takes the Treb.
He's going to take the Treb.
What?
GG.
I mean, I guess we should talk about gold position, right? How much gold is left on the map? There's still 31k, but all that gold is pretty much in the middle right now. Neither player has a castle directly on those gold areas, but Viper needs army. He needs something to kill Cav Archers. And unfortunately, you can't even go skirms because Hera will easily switch into Cav to counter that and has 3 castles for Magyar Hussar. So
I honestly think there's a world in which you can just keep sniping these Trebs, buy yourself enough time to get into Stirrup Hussar.
Stirrups. Yeah,
that's
like what you do. You just
56 on food is crazy.
Yep. He really needs horse collar, though.
Really needs it.
He's losing so much wood.
Yeah.
He can't make more production buildings. And then, wow, okay, he must have heard us. There he goes for horse collar. But you can't get as many production buildings up if you're constantly reseeding farms right now. Monks going down. Cav Archers going down. Trebs for Hera could go down. I mean, he's had
Squire's
some
coming
dicey
in
moments with
clutch,
his
bro.
Trebs.
They're catching up.
Hera, if you lose these 2 Trebs
Swing
to this
that
tiny
mace.
little army, after everything you've done, I really don't know what to think. He's going to lose a Treb to this. All
Maybe.
right. Well played to the Viper. That's something, man. And now he's up. Now he's getting upgrades. He's going to go for Halb now. I mean, Viper's eco. 60 on food, like you said. He's at 165 pop, which is the same population as Hera. Ow.
The problem is, as he loads the pikemen into the rams, the problem is he doesn't have any Krepos behind to hold once this stuff is down. So he's going to have to keep Hera at home with just raids. And Hera now has 53 on food. Similar position, going for Hussar. And Viper is just going for Siege Ran Halb push. Oh, baby. Okay.
It's great against Cav Archers, dude. It's great against Cav Archers. And if Hera's not ready to spam Cav. The Cav has just started. He's dropping more stables. Hera has basically placed castles here. That says, I am not going to lose this one. He never went for an offensive castle this game. Just a circle of castles.
Still no castle for Viper to get stirrups or to get conscription or to get anything.
He needs Siege Ram before... he needs Siege Ram.
It's coming out.
10 seconds. 10 seconds out. He hops out with the Halbs. That's perfect. It's very hard for Hera to take this engagement if he doesn't have, well, 50 military units. But Hera will be fine. That's a decent fight for Viper considering, but Viper needs way more than that to break Hera.
It buys him time.
Yeah.
Hussar on the way. Maybe buys him time to get that Hussar upgrade with the final armor. He's going for another ram on the other side, so might try the same thing. But like I said, there's no castles or Krepos left to protect him in his own economy. So Hera will come flying through here. He can maybe kill the monastery with the relics and get all 8. And he's going to start to raid, and Viper doesn't have much of a defense.
Yeah, and listen, if you don't have Krepos defense, your opponent has 6 castles up, it's going to be really tricky for you. You need to push those castles almost. You need to find some type of way to break through Hera before he gets to your base. And it feels like maybe Viper's tried that, right? Maybe what we've witnessed here has been attempt after attempt after attempt at trying to get real damage in against Hera, but it's not going to happen. They both might be at 200 pop, but Hera's got a crazy army. Recurve bow Cav Archers.
So weird.
A card tower. Yeah, I guess maybe to protect the gold there for Hera, but I don't know, man. Like, Viper's Halbs are going to chew up and get some kills, but they're going to be killed equally as fast against the Cav Archers, and that is the unit that Hera's going to win this game with.
Yeah, the Cav Archers are in the back, too. Although Viper is kind of clearing them with his Hussar. Cav Archer numbers down to 32, but the recurve bow Cav Archers, they're so strong as Viper tries to push on the left side now, killing some villagers. Hera's still at 132. Viper's still at 125. But no castles, no Krepos, no nothing to protect this. And Viper calls the GG. Hera wins Warlords 3.
Hera played so well this tournament. Both players did. These were clearly the best players in the world. But Hera, yet again, wins another tournament, and this one over the Snake. Dave, it was such a back-and-forth series, right? It was such a back-and-forth series. I still can't help thinking about that one Bombard Cannon volley from Hera winning that arena game, right? If that arena game was a Viper victory, we're heading to a game 9 right now, right?
But that's the thing with Hera. That's the difference right now. He takes advantage of those moments, right? Like, even the Saracens game on Haboob, we were like, how are you still alive? How are you still alive? How are you still alive? And he just puts himself in such a good position.
Agreed.
He's the best right now. Viper, I mean, this is a Viper we haven't seen in a while, and I think Viper played amazing this tournament, but still not good enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, like the first, 4 games, Viper was firing on all cylinders. I do feel like at a certain point, things started to get a little sloppy when compared to, not the average player, not other high-level players, Hera, right? He played super smooth. And I think if you... The consistency is his greatest trait. You could talk about like style or Civ or whatever. I think consistency is just the greatest trait. That he could play for 4 hours or however long this has been and still show the same level from game 1 when compared to game number 8 here. So it was a great final. It was a really great final. And that's what we wanted. We wanted a competitive game. or competitive set of games that took us near the end, and that's what we got. More resources collected here from Hera. I think in this game, Viper probably just needs to maybe be a little bit more aggressive. I don't know. It
I
felt
want to
so good
see.
for
I
him.
want to see the Men at Arms in Feudal Age, because Hera doesn't
Mm,
have a range. I want to see
yeah.
those come forward. You push that whole spear army back. You take him off that completely, and you force him into a range, and
Hmm.
then you're gaming from that point forward.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it certainly felt like the start was there for Viper, but Hera just sticking to his game plan and continuing on. But yeah, there's not much more to say about the guy. The other thing is like we've been casting Hera for years,
Yeah.
and it used to be a point where like maybe you look back and say the gameplay is good, but the draft wasn't, or like the gameplay is good and X, Y, or Z map was a weakness for him. But he doesn't really have that many weaknesses. I would say maybe if there was one, maybe like maybe a map that incorporates a little bit more water, but it's just really hard to beat him. It's just really hard to beat him. But I'm really happy with the level we saw from Viper. I still think, despite maybe the level dipping ever so slightly, or maybe the additional creativity from him near the end here, I
Hmm.
still think this is the best Viper I've seen in 2 years.
I think he could take a
Still
lot of
agree.
confidence from this tournament, dude.
Yeah,
Like he's
I think he
right
looked
up
really
there.
good.
He's right